Hey, what's going on, everybody? All right, let me just turn off this music. All right, cool. What's going on? Hope you guys can hear me and hope the sound's good. If there's anything wrong with the sound, you guys will let me know. And if not, then check out the podcast on Spotify and iTunes and listen to it properly. But this is live, and today I got a friend on here. His name is Devin Gamo, and he's a YouTuber. Man, this guy's fucking got balls, man. Like, I haven't watched all his YouTube videos, but like I know him on the circuit. I got friends who know him, and he's friends of friends, and you know he's a local here in the six in Toronto. But this guy should be a lot more famous than he already is. I'm surprised he's not. And he's got all these videos that you guys need to check him out on his YouTube channel. We're gonna plug it in a bit. We're gonna talk about it. He's an actor, he's a comedian, and fuck it. Let's just bring him on. Yo, Devin, you're up.
Live, and I was gonna say in person, but not so in person. Live. Appreciate the introduction, though. That was great.
That was like the most unpolished introduction ever. But you know, just on the podcast, I was just like, fuck it, we're just gonna freaking just jump into it. There's no freaking polish here, man. We're just like,
there's no putting your toe in the water and getting your feet wet and then jumping in. You're just ripping the Band-Aid off, and that's it.
That's it, man. Dude, I saw you were on a podcast earlier, and I was just like, he's talking like, I see the podcast is so polished, and I was like, yo, this is all good. Like, and podcasts are great, but I was just like, when he comes on this podcast, like, this is not that. We're just gonna like, this is no fucking filter, man. You swear as much as you want. You can drink. You don't need to give a proper answer. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Just shoot the shit.
That's it. Yo, so like, tell me first of all, for the people that are new and they haven't discovered your channel. So tell me first about, like, plug your channel. Tell me what your channel's about, what you do, and what like people are expected to see when they watch your stuff.
So first of all, I started just with the sole intention of doing prank videos and social experiments. Okay. And that was, just mainly just trying to get, people's reactions in absurd or unusual situations.
I'm just thinking, because I do that videos, stuff. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like that's pretty much, how I'd sum it up. And like I always like to see how people respond to like weird situations and kind of out of the norm things. Yeah. So I figured that I'd get a camera, mic myself up, and I do this stuff already as it is, but like I amp it up for the camera in a sense where it's just like I go a little crazy, I go a little in character.
Dude, and the characters are freaking like I feel like I know the people who are going to be listening to this on audio, and they're like, okay, if I play a video, they're not going to be able to see it. So you guys are just going to have to look up his YouTube channel. By the way, what's your YouTube channel, so they can look it up while they're listening to the podcast?
It's Devin_Gamo, Gammo.
And it's on site. So it's YouTube/Devin_Gamo. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And you guys can also follow him on Instagram and things like that. But like, dude, I saw your videos, and I saw one of the videos you actually were bleeding. You got punched in the face.
Yeah, so that was the
gone wrong. It's like a social screwed up. Is that
so when you hear that prank's gone wrong? Like that was literally it in every sense of the word.
So walk me through, what was the experiment? What were you guys doing? What actually happened?
So okay, this is what. So when I was actually in Toronto, I met this guy that was filming a video, and he was asking people what they would do with $1 million.
Yeah.
And I gave him like this really jokes answer. Like I literally said I would buy a sequacious interlude that surrounded itself by a primordial octane. Like I just said random shit, right? Yeah. And then I asked him, I was like, what kind of videos do you film? And then he said, he hits the streets, interviews people, and then we talked about collabing one time. And then he called me up like that night, and he's like, "Hey man, there's this. This was 2014, and the shooting in
Yeah.
Ottawa had just happened,
Right.
and he pitched me this like serious video
Right.
idea where I would be wearing traditional Islamic
Okay.
attire. He'd bring his friend
Right.
along, and then he told me just to play the part of this racist
Yeah.
asshole. And the whole goal of the
Yeah.
video was to see how tolerant Canadians were to
Oh,
racism,
and
right?
so somebody came up and just punched you in the face.
That's literally what happened.
Oh my God. Were you
Yeah.
prepared for that? You're like, okay, this, if somebody stands up like, yo, I'm either gonna get like body slammed onto the concrete or something, like you never thought of that?
So I told him he wanted to film it in like in
Yeah.
Toronto, and I said that if you want to get good
Yeah.
reactions, come to Hamilton. We'll film it
Yeah.
downtown. I don't know if you've been to Jackson Square before, but
I probably might have been there. I
there's
don't know
some
the name of it though, because I know I've been to Hamilton downtown. So it's like one street, it's like one corner or something like that. It's like nothing major.
you probably yeah, you probably have been, to Jackson Square. That's like the mall
Okay, okay.
area where people go shopping
Yeah,
there. But I told him, I was like, if you want to see some interesting
yeah,
characters, we'll film it in, around Jackson
yeah.
Square area. And to answer your question, no, I didn't think I was going to get punched in the
Oh
face,
shoot! Did you have to go to the
but
hospital afterward? Did you, or did you just kind of like plug it up and your nose wasn't broken, everything was okay?
yeah, everything was
Yeah,
okay. But it's crazy too because I was so in
yeah,
character that like I crossed the
yeah,
street and everyone's, oh my God, are you okay? You should go to the bathroom. I was like, no, we got to film the intro right now. Well, my nose is
yeah,
bleeding. I had just finished talking to a
yeah,
cop who wanted me to press
yeah.
charges against this guy.
Wow.
And I was like, no, kind of go against the whole purpose
Yeah,
of, our whole intent of the social experiment
yeah.
here. And plus I was being an asshole.
So
So,
you just like, oh, I'm
um,
just gonna continue, just keep rolling with it, yeah.
yeah, I
Shit.
was like, we need to film this intro and then, I'll go to the bathroom and get it
I
sorted
saw
out.
some, I saw
So
some of your videos, man. You're like, you put on these characters, like I think in the recent ones, you're like this nerd, or you go to you're like, what you do? You're going to these the coffee shops or Starbucks, or and you're just being like, hey, I'm been set by head office. You guys have been running out of masks, using tea bags as masks or some shit like that. So
yeah, so
tell
what
us,
were you gonna say? Sorry.
tell us the premise of like a few of your videos, so people could just be like, "Oh shit, I never thought." Because like some of this stuff, I never thought of. I'm like, that's pretty funny, man. I never thought of that idea. Walk in and full on suit and just like talk with a straight face to the manager and be like,
So that one in particular, it's always been something that I've done. Like if I'm walking around, I'll
you just
kind
do it
of
on
I'll go
in
up to
general, no
employees.
cameras rolling. You mean is that what you mean?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh shit.
Sometimes I
I
like
just
to
do
just
it for
mess
fun.
with
'Cause I
people
just
in
like
general.
let's put this on. Let's actually make this like something real. Like I mean, I just do this on my free time.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm walking around, I'll go up to people, I'll be like, "All right, guys, stand 10 feet back. We're actually unloading shipments in here," and they'll listen because I like to just test out and
Yeah.
see how people respond to things,
Right.
right? Like if you can literally, it's crazy what you can get away
Right.
with if you say something with enough
Yeah.
confidence and with enough like meaning behind it. Like if I were to go up and be like, "Excuse me, guys, they're actually hosing the place down because someone has incredibly bad foot odor, and we need to evacuate the premises."
And they believe it.
And yeah, like I've said the most absurd things
Yeah.
before, and I say it with a straight
Yeah.
face. I say it with a very authoritative
Yeah.
manner, and people will be like, "Oh, okay," and they don't even question it. They're not like, "Okay, who the fuck are you?"
Exactly.
They're just like, "Sure, okay."
So how do you hide these cameras? Like I see you got a team. It seems like what is this your brother or is this?
So and that's the whole like people like to or people say that I film quite a bit, but I would easily film 3 4 times as
Yeah.
much if it was easier to figure out the
Yeah.
logistics. So like trying to get someone to film for
Yeah.
me that has the same schedule that I
Yeah.
do is the hardest
That
part.
must be.
Once that's taken care of, then
Dude,
it's easy because I have a long range
yeah.
lens, and I also have good microphones, so I can go a fair
So what are
distance
you using?
away.
Are you using wireless lav mics?
Yeah, yeah,
And you
exactly.
just put them on and then the guys your friend's got the receiver and he's how do you guys hide the camera? You guys put his like what does he do to hide the camera? Like I'm like nobody sees the camera?
Yeah, and well, you know what? It's crazy too because like sometimes I'll overthink
Yeah.
it. I'll overthink it and be like, okay, so you got to go all the way here. And then if I see someone walking towards me, I'll be like, okay, let's film this right
Yeah.
now. And then and then I'll think like, okay, no, they'll see the camera, but then I just sometimes get so
Yeah.
into it, I don't care about hiding the
Yeah.
camera. And then for the most part, like when people are like indulged in a conversation and they're on the hook, so to
Yeah.
speak, like when they're believing what you
Yeah.
say, they don't even notice everything that's around them. Like they're so like, I'll be saying something that's so absurd. They'll be so just, in the moment and so focused in on talking to me, they won't realize, what's going
Yeah.
on. But there have been times where, people have spotted the camera. Ha, I know this is a prank.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, I see your mic. Like sometimes my mic will be a little
Yeah.
visible
So
and
you keep it always hidden. You don't like to leave it out there and just be like, screw it. They can just think whatever they want, but I need clean audio.
yeah, yeah. Like I try, like what I do is I feed it up through the top of my
Yeah.
shirt and I'll put it like right at the end of my
Yeah.
shirt and I'll flip it in and you won't be able to tell.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So then I mean, that's clever. You do actually have some good tech, I guess, to get all that done. I mean, I saw this other video. What were you doing? You went on, is it like a Tinder date, but you made sure you were obnoxious, and the girl's just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
So that one was by far the most work I've done on like just like on my YouTube channel anyways, like on a prank
Yeah.
video. So
Tell
what
me
we
about
actually
that.
did,
What happened? Why was it the most work?
so just the whole setup
Yeah.
beforehand. I mean, just from getting the camera angles, like one of my buddies was in my car which was parked. He was filming one camera angle by zooming in out the
Yeah.
windshield. My other friend was sitting at a
Yeah.
table and he was pretending like the second camera was connected to his laptop and he was just kind of pretending like he was doing
Yeah.
work. Meanwhile, it was
Yeah.
filming. I had my lavalier mic in the coffee cup, in my coffee cup at the table, which was between both of us, so it got good crisp audio with me and the girl
So you
too.
had your
And then
one mic in the coffee cup, and she didn't see
yeah,
it.
it was literally in the coffee cup. So every now and then I'd mock like, drinking something out of it,
Yeah.
but there was like I had the lid over top of it and I had the mic actually coming out of the tongue of the
Yeah.
lid and it was facing me. So like she was on the other side of the table
Oh,
so she couldn't see it.
that's crazy.
But it was
That
yeah,
that
yeah,
is
so
quite the setup, I gotta say. I, okay, so you make sure you have enough footage, and so you have multiple cameras running, multiple audio. Seems like multiple audio sources running as well, just in case one thing screws up.
yeah, well, I mean, the lavalier mic does a really good job of picking up
Yeah.
audio in general, and like I make sure to continuously keep doing mic tests because I've
Yeah.
had sometimes too where it's like, I'll go record a clip, I'll be like, oh, that was perfect. I'll get home and it'll be,
No, that's I've had that. I've had that screw up in my life
yeah,
so many times. Not so many times, but like some important moments, like personal moments. And I'll look at the audio. I'm like, my goodness, the entire trip, I did not check the audio, and it's just fucking static.
you feel like just pulling your hair
Yeah,
out, eh? Like it's
you're
the
like,
most annoying
I
thing.
can't do anything with this. There's no. Oh, and I just like I think about it now, and I was like, I wish for a time machine, so I can go back and capture those moments.
Yeah, honestly, because it's like it's crazy how much audio does play
It
into
does, man.
a
You can have
video.
like bad video, but if you had like just good, clean audio, it's like you can understand the whole
Mm,
story. You can listen to it. You're like, okay, fine, this is memories. But if you have like great audio, but like static the whole way through, you're like, I can't watch this. I don't know what they're saying. I
yeah,
don't know what, like, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. It's just like, yeah. It brings us some bad memories. Like, dude, audio is so important.
it is. Yeah.
For that same one, for that same video that the Tinder date, did you have to put in a lot of
Mhm.
work? Like you had to go and match with someone on Tinder and like have a conversation for them to be interested, and then be like, now guys, we have the template for a video.
Mhm.
What did you do?
Yeah, and that too, like I was trying to match girls that were, fairly close to me.
Yeah.
So they weren't driving all the way from Toronto. So all of a sudden I friggin', you know, um pulled the wool over their eyes and they're just like, oh fuck, it's a video. I'd match girls that were like, within a couple kilometers of where I was
So
living.
wait, let's
And
just wind this back. So like, is it easy for you to match with people on Tinder and online dating?
yeah, yeah, I mean for me it's fairly easy, but I prefer to meet girls in person and that's a whole nother subject, but it is fairly easy.
So tell
Yeah.
me about this. So, are you single first of all?
Yes.
So you said it's
No kidding.
easy for you to. So what happened? So you like meeting girls in person, but you find
Mhm.
it easy to do the online dating. So you've tried all the online dating apps, the Tinder, the Bumbles, you've tried them all.
Yeah. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge I've kind of flirted with. I haven't tried Christian Mingle.
Okay.
I haven't tried
I haven't tried Christian
Match.com
Mingle. I
or
wonder if I should try that.
no.
They might be
Yeah, maybe
disappointed though
maybe
because I'm
we're
not
missing out.
Christian.
Well, Well, they don't have to know that yet, anyway. But no, I find Tinder's
Yeah.
great. Tinder's probably the best go-to. Bumble, it's like, you'll match good-looking girl, and
Everybody's
then it's
so
just like
pretty on
you'll message.
Bumble. Like, whoa.
Yeah,
I was just like,
yeah.
I wonder if they put that in like intentionally, just put a random like pretty people just so people will like flock to the app.
Oh, they definitely. It definitely doesn't hurt. You know?
So so
You
do you
know?
match with a lot of people on Bumble?
On Bumble, yeah, but like that's the thing, right? Is they have to message first, and a lot of them don't.
Ah,
And then the girls that do message first, they're bland, kind of
yeah.
boring openers that I don't know. I just get bored with. Or hey, how are you? How was your weekend? Like I want someone that's gonna say like something creative. I want someone with some substance, not like talking to a
Give me
doorknob.
an
Like
example.
oh,
So
how
it
are
sounds to
you?
me like you have a lot of dating experience. So give me an example. Someone that is like, this is a girl that yes, you should give a chance to, and this is a girl that nah. Like, give me an example when it comes to the
Someone
online
was
dating
okay.
scene.
When it comes to online dating, obviously it's hard to kind of get a gauge of personality. I mean, you can
Hmm.
kind of see if they have a sense of
Yeah.
humor, right? That's number one for me. Like if someone, I don't care if you look like Victoria's Secret model, but it's just like you have a
Shut
personality of a
up. I
doorknob.
know
That
you would
doesn't that
care if a
doesn't do
girl
it.
would look like a
A
Victoria's
little,
Secret model.
but a little personality though, like a little bit.
Okay.
Like it's just like you don't want to feel like you're just talking to a wall.
So you're
Like
telling me if a
some
Victoria's Secret
something.
model said yes to you on Bumble or Tinder, you would not give her the time of day? If she was just like, "Hello."
No, what are we talking here? Are we talking like
Talking
relationships? Are we
relationship,
talking
yeah.
like
Well,
marriage
actually
hookups?
wind it back. What are you looking for whenever you go on these online dating apps? Are you looking to hook up? Are you looking for a relationship? Are you looking for a short-term relationship? Are you looking for something casual? What do you know? What are you generally looking for?
I like to just kind of I like to match, and then I don't like to have an expectation in mind, and
Interesting.
then just kind of take it from there.
What does that
So it's just
mean though?
like,
Everybody says that, but that's like bullshit. It's like I will wait for the match and
like
then I will decide what I want to do with my life the moment I see you, which is still you're going off of a photo. You're like, Victoria's Secret model? Yes, I want to marry you. Another one who's just like,
and
she looks like she look. What were we saying?
no, I was just gonna say like, and that's another thing
Yeah,
too. Like pictures and in person is a whole different
yeah.
scenario because when you see them and you meet some people in person, they look completely different than their pictures.
Oh,
Those pictures could be years and years
yeah,
ago, or they could be from, flattering angles and, optimal
yeah.
lighting. So that's why I prefer to meet people in person. I will do the online dating thing, but I've just noticed from my experience, it hasn't been like they look different than their pictures. It's almost like a sense of
So
like
it's
false
almost like you
advertisement.
you you expected. Like you're telling me. So whenever you started online dating, you
Mhm.
you saw that people were generally not looking like their photos, right? This
For the
this is like
most
for the
part,
for the
yeah,
most part.
yeah.
So has there ever been a time where you'll get them like this is not the person that I swiped right on, and you just be like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah,
Like, what do you normally do in those situations?
and that happened to me. Like I'll always see it out. I'm a nice guy. When I show up, it's just like, okay, we've kind of made this agreement, even though you lied to me. Just like, okay, I can understand, maybe gaining a couple pounds,
Yeah,
but like if it's evident that these photos were from like 4 years
or like a
ago,
decade ago or
and
something. Has that ever happened? Is it like a
yeah,
photo from a decade ago, and you're like, wait a second.
well, I wouldn't go as far as a
Yeah,
decade, but I would say like 4 or 5 years
yeah.
ago. Like
That's just
I showed up. I remember this was the last date I went
yeah.
on. It was from Tinder,
Okay.
and it was two months
Yeah,
ago. And I showed up and I was crossing the street. I was like, okay, this can't be
yeah.
her. And then she waves to me, and I was just thinking like, oh, why?
You're like, why?
Why couldn't you just update your picture?
Well, dude, at least you get matches. I mean, it sounds to me like you're like the social butterfly on all these apps. Like everybody's matching with you, and they're like they want a piece
It
of the gammo. So like whenever you meet with when you're chatting with these people, has there ever been a time where you match with someone and you're like, you're pretty, but I don't think I want to meet you yet. Because, does that happen, or do you feel like you know what? I'm just still gonna see where it goes, and then you make your final decision when you meet them.
well, if I'm vibing and I'm getting along with
What
them, that like I'll meet up with
What if you're
them
not
for
vibing with
sure.
them? Do they usually call it quits, or
Yeah,
are you
then
are usually the one, or would you be like, nah?
if I'm not vibing, you mean just like through the
Yeah,
app
exactly.
itself?
Yeah.
Well, I have a hard time with just texting and responding.
Oh,
So like I like to
yeah.
call because it's very hard for me to kind of see if I'm completely vibing with someone just by, texting and
Oh,
messaging.
that's
So
true. That's a
like
good point. So these apps let you call?
I'll well no, I'll try to get the person like get my match
Right.
off there as soon as possible.
Right.
Like within the first day or two, I'll say, "Here, text me. Here's my
Yeah.
number." And then I'll call them and then, establish some rapport
Right.
via the phone because the world's I'm the world's most horrible texter and responder to
Right.
messages on any kind of
That makes
like
sense. That
dating
makes
app
sense.
or
You're like you're speeding up time and you're like,
yeah.
let me just see get to know you. And then when you talk to them on the phone, you're just like, huh, I don't know if I'm getting a good vibe here. Is that when you call it quits?
Like yeah, if I'm not getting a good vibe per
Yeah.
se, then I won't pursue it. But if it seems like we're getting along, be like, okay, we'll meet up. What are you doing on Friday or what are you doing on Sunday, and then
Interesting.
we'll meet because you don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to go on a date with someone
Yeah.
that I know it's just like going to be like kind of boring
Yeah.
conversation. Like, oh yeah, look at that. Weather's nice today. Oh
So what'd you do in that
yeah.
video that you had? You had a Tinder date. It was this girl was off of Tinder in your YouTube video.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you revealed it at the end. You're like, hey, this was just all like a prank video, and this is all that happened. When you revealed it, was she just like, okay, so are we gonna actually have the real date now? Like, did you what happened after the video?
Well, after the video, we went out for
Yeah,
coffee, and like I mean, they're both at the end of the
yeah,
video, and they were cool with it. They were laughing it off. They thought it was
yeah,
hilarious, and then I felt like I owed her a date
yeah.
because we went on a what was perceived as a
Right.
date, and then it turned out to be a hidden camera prank.
You're on candid camera
So
now.
yeah, there's a camera there. There's a mic in his coffee cup here.
So you did the date after, and then that was it. You never spoke to them ever again. Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. And then so you're off on
yeah.
to the next a dating app. So you've been single for how long now?
Whew, oh man. Uh, carry the three, carry the four. 6 years
60
now.
years. So tell me about what is your idea in terms of dating? So like you've been single for 6 years, but everybody's idea of single is a little bit skewed. So some people see it as like
That's a good point.
when there's some people say it as like, okay, fine, you're single, but single only means single because you haven't been in a committed relationship, whereas people have flings and hookups and all these stuff in between, but they don't count those. um
And yeah, on that point too, you're exactly right. And the reason why I just see it as you're in a
yeah,
relationship or you're not in a relationship. I don't know what dating means. I don't know what hooking up means. I don't know what seeing each other
right.
means.
Oh, so
You're in a
so
relationship
so so
or you're
you're
not
so
in a
you're on the same
relationship.
you're on that same wavelength as me, which is basically like the moment you meet someone, if you guys are talking, and then that's you consider that a relationship.
The moment you're the moment that you
Yeah,
decide to make it that you're not going to hook up with anyone
yeah.
else, then you're in a
But
relationship. I don't know what dealing with me like all these
yeah.
terms. It's like yeah, if you make that
So
agreement
okay,
to
well, let's say the
not
agreement
be
hasn't happened. Let's say you meet a girl, you guys
Mhm.
are you having a good time, you see each other a couple times, you guys are talking, and all of a sudden on one of the dates you guys get intimate. Is that now a relationship?
On one of the no, you just be because you're still single after that.
So you so, so
Like
you're like, wait a
I mean,
second. So you got intimate with someone, and you're like, all right, I'm still single after that. So does that mean that even if you meet up with this person multiple times over the course of a few months,
mhm.
you're still single even after all of that? So you went, you
Yeah, I
had the
mean
buffet, you tried the food,
the buffet. You're like, okay, this is good. All right, I like this. I might go
but I
back
want to take a
for
rain check
seconds.
on the check. Is that what happens? I'll put on my tab. Is that what happens?
Well, there's always the chat,
What?
right? There's
Tell me
always
about the
the
chat. I don't know any of this. Explain this chat to me.
it's always the so what are
Yeah.
we?
What do you say?
You
What
know,
does
and
Devin say? What is?
I mean it
Yeah.
depends, right? Like if I'm actually catching feelings for this girl, then then I might propose it. I might say,
Yeah.
okay, let's let's make it official. Let's be in a relationship. But then again, what do I know? I've only been in one relationship in my
You only
life.
been in one in your entire
So
life? And
yeah,
how many hookups have you been in your entire life?
I don't have an official number.
Is it because you can't remember
I'd
the
have
number?
to. I don't keep. I know a lot of guys that like keep track, and you know what? I mean, you can kind of tell the numbers. It's usually the guys inflate the
Yeah,
numbers, the girls
deflate the number.
they under. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't actually have a number that comes to mind right now. I'd
Interesting.
have to tally it
See,
up.
that's interesting, eh? So like the guys inflate the number because I'm guessing it's probably like an ego thing. They just want to sound like they got more. Me, I mean, I obviously I have like almost zero experience in this. I married pretty much my one main relationship I've ever had in my life, and then it broke up. I mean, that's all over my Instagram. So that's probably why I'm kind of dealing with a breakup, which is kind of like a 14-year-old would, but I mean, like I'm having it now. Um,
Right.
Whereas like I get it,
Yeah.
the culture now is everybody's like, okay, they if they're exclusive, it's a relationship. If it's not exclusive, then they're like, we're still single, and then they just start hooking up along the way. Like you said, guys inflate the numbers, girls deflate the numbers, but they're
Hmm.
still hooking up, they're still being intimate regardless. Um, um, so then what happens in that situation which you just described, where you're hooking up with a girl, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know, I'm not gonna make this a serious thing. How do you get? Do you get withdrawals? Do you get like, wait a second, I missed this person. I spent so many months with this person. I spent talking to this person, and then now they're just bam, they're gone. Does that not hit you?
Well, yeah, like if I do have genuine feelings for a
Yeah.
girl, and like I'll make it official
Okay.
for sure. But the moment you make it official, like is the moment that you stop fooling around with her, doing stuff with other girls. Like I don't know, I'm a firm believer that like if you're gonna be in a
Yeah.
relationship, it should be fairly close to marriage or fairly close to spending um the majority of your life with that person. Like it shouldn't just be like, oh, I'm gonna, because I know people that relationship hop, right? They're just like
Explain that to me. For
they
like, I
want to.
don't. I'm new to all this. What does the relationship hopping mean?
That's kind of like a term that I made
What
up,
does
and
it
I'm
mean
just
to
kind of
you?
throwing around. But it's like I know guys that literally they just cannot function as being
Uh,
single. They're like, okay, they'll go and start go on a couple dates with a girl, and then they'll want to make it
yeah.
official just because they can't stand being single. And then they have a new girlfriend every 3 weeks,
But so
and
even though they're doing it every 3 weeks, I mean, this is just like
mhm.
for example, let's say they're having a new girlfriend every 3 weeks. So like one relationship doesn't work, the next girl, and then 3 weeks, and then next girl, 3 weeks. In those 3 weeks, they're just being exclusive to one, right?
Yeah, yeah, like it's just like okay, I'm in a relationship, and then they're all of a sudden they have pictures with other
Yeah.
people on their or with another girl on their Instagram, and then another girl, and it's just like, hold on, wait, you're in a relationship with someone else? Wait,
What
what?
happened?
I thought you were just, yeah, like blonde girl, like I thought you were just in a wasn't your girlfriend blonde 3 weeks ago? Like,
Like, no, that one didn't work out. And so
no.
in the verses, someone who's single but they're not committing to anything, but
Hmm.
they're like technically they're doing the same thing, aren't they? One week they're with one girl, or the next week they're with another girl, the week after that with another girl, but because they haven't committed, they're still labeled single. Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, yeah, they'd still be labeled single
So then how
if
so
they're.
then does that not isn't that I mean, to me that makes that's just confusing to me.
Wait, if what? I'm
I'm
confused now.
confused about like that's to me that's just confusing. So like because like if someone says like like let's say I meet a girl and she's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I've been single for like a decade, and I'm like, wait, so does that mean just because the world is what it is, and just so I can get this straight, you mean that you've never hooked up with anyone in the past 10 years? And then some of them will be like, no,
Mhm.
of course they've done this and they fooled around and this. I'm like, well, wait, then break that down for me. Tell me about like what happened. Were you like with one guy one day, the next guy you were the next day? Hey, what's going on, chat? Thanks for tuning in. And then so what does that mean? Does that mean to you like you're with one guy one day, and the next day you're with another guy? And then I get it, you don't have commitments, so that's why you're able to do these
Mhm.
things. But to me, in my vocabulary, that's like no, you weren't like that's not single. Like you're still going out and testing different restaurants. You know what I mean? Like you don't tell
Restaurant.
me you were starving for 10 years. There's a difference between someone who's starving for 10 years versus someone's like, you know what, I'm gonna go and just like sample every booth.
Right, like Costco, for
Yeah,
instance.
exactly.
Going around Costco.
You know?
Well, I don't know. I just know this is just in my own logic.
Yeah.
Like, it's different for other people, but like if I'm like when I talk in terms of being
Yeah.
single, that's just being committed to one. If I that just means I'm not committed to one person.
Right. So you're cool. So you're basically, I mean, it's cool. So you're okay with as long as you're single, you're not committed to one person. That means you can go and try every booth and just Essentially, that's what it is.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you go taste the menu, you sample it, you meet the chef,
The chef. I love all these food analogies, man. It's making me hungry.
they call you
Like,
into they call you into the back room. You see what's in the freezer. I get it, So you you see what's in the deep
yeah,
fryer. You do all of that, and then you're like,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to buy this
Totally.
restaurant yet. I don't want to know if I want to make this my restaurant yet. I'm going to go circle the globe. I'll check out the different restaurants and I'll let you know my verdict.
Yeah.
So like, that's generally that's the consensus.
Mhm,
So if that happens, now you tell me tell me the mentality that goes behind that. Like, are you like, is it once you finally find a girl that you like, is it
mhm.
easy to just kind of like throw yourself in, be attached, and get super romantic, or are you kind of detached because you kind of like, yeah, I'm committed to here, but like, it's just meh, you know what I mean? Because you've kind of been around.
Well, for me personally, it is like I do need a couple dates to get that attachment. Like it is because it's I've been out of the game for a while.
Not
So
really. I mean, you technically are doing these social experiments. You're meeting people all the time. You're meeting girls all the time.
I just mean like the relate like I haven't had a relationship in
Okay,
6 years, right? So
right.
it's like yeah, 6 years. Yeah. So
So when you
what were
meet
you gonna
these
say?
girls, you haven't been in a relationship, so you've been out of the game in the
Mhm.
sense that you haven't you've been out of practice in like how to maintain a relationship, how to work on a
Yeah,
relationship. Is that what you mean?
yeah.
So in the past 6 years you've had more experience basically hooking up with girls.
Yeah, yeah, hooking up with girls
Yeah.
and then just kind of seeing what works and what doesn't.
So tell me about
Like
that.
I
I want to know about this. Talk to me about. First of all, I want to know what's the difference in your viewpoint of like when you're in a relationship, you're like, I've been out of practice because I haven't had a chance to practice these things. But in hooking up with girls, this is the skill set that you need, and this is the things that you're generally having to deal with, and that's usually what goes down. To me, I don't. This is all like
Mhm.
I don't understand. So tell me, what is the difference?
Well,
You
when
still meet the
you're
person, I'm guessing, at a restaurant. You still like have a coffee. You still talk to them. Like, what's different?
yeah. Well, just the fact that it's like, when you're in a relationship, you're completely, you're committed to one person and you can't go in or you shouldn't be going in, flirting with other girls and like you're just spending more time. Like for me it was really hard to sleep in a bed with someone else. Like just that alone.
Just that alone. Okay,
Like
so wait. So
I mean,
so
there's many other things, but it's just like, yeah,
ah
like I even found it hard because I don't know why I just can't sleep in a bed with someone else. Like I have to be in my own bed or else I'll toss and turn the whole night.
interesting. So that's something that you've learned. So like, okay. So then what else goes down whenever you're hooking up with like how do hookups work? Is it usually off of Tinder? Is it usually off of social media apps, or is this like you meet people at a party and then hookups happen? Like, walk me through what is a hookup to you and how does it generally happen?
I mean, you can like there's many ways to meet people,
Give me three.
and I pardon.
Give me three versions of a.
Well, I'm a firm believer that like you shouldn't limit yourself as you're going about your day.
Okay.
If you see someone, go and approach them. Like
Yeah.
that's what I love to do. Like I mean, social dating apps is
Yeah.
it's kind of I like approaching people in person because I know exactly what they look like. Like if I'm just gonna go to the grocery store and
Yeah.
go pick up some groceries and I see a good looking girl,
Yeah.
I'll go and approach her.
Yeah.
Potentially get her number, see what she's like,
Yeah.
talk to her for a little bit, and then maybe go on a date with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that you should, especially with what's going on now with bars and clubs being closed.
Yeah.
That's usually the general way that a lot of guys go out and meet girls. But I think you should be approaching people throughout the day, because
Interesting.
there's so many girls out there, and it's like why limit yourself? That's just the way I see it.
You're right. A lot of guys do that. They're just like they're not shy and they're not scared of it. And they definitely go and do that. Of course, now I guess now with the whole COVID thing, people have like these masks on, so all you see is their
Yeah.
eyes, and you just gotta go off the eyes. You're like, I think I can. I'm gonna have to use my psychic powers to guess like what the rest of her face looks like. But like okay, and
And
you're
there
just gonna.
has been times where I get too close, or sorry, where I go up and start talking to them, and I'm just like, okay, I need to abandon. This girl's like 15, like I'm out of here. Or, like, because it's hard to tell until you get closer, and then you're just like,
Exactly.
oh,
You're like, oh, okay.
yeah, like abandoned ship.
So it's because you're used to this YouTube stuff. Does that make it easy for you to just go and approach people and just go and talk to girls, or is that something that's just always been a part of you?
Okay, so it actually, believe it or not, I'm a very big introvert,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I could spend like years by myself on an island. Like I love my alone time. I love to be alone. I love to just reflect and think. But um, I worked on this part of myself too. When I first moved to Toronto for school, I was 18 years old. I didn't have any
Where'd you come
friends.
from?
I'm from like an hour away. I'm from just outside of Hamilton.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I first moved to Toronto and I was 18 and I didn't have any friends. I knew no one. My roommates were going out to the clubs,
Yeah,
bars, they were drinking, and I just figured like fuck, like this is ridiculous. And at that point, I was just very shy. Like I didn't like to like really talk to anyone, really go up and I was just thinking like I need to make some friends. So I would
yeah,
force myself to go to the mall every single day
yeah,
and go up and approach strangers and have conversations with strangers and go up and approach girls. And I mean, I would be walking around the mall for 3 hours at a time without approaching one girl, and then I'd slowly be like, "Oh, do you know how to get to Starbucks? Okay, thanks." And I'd be like, "Yes," like, and then
yeah,
I'd slowly move up. But I would just force myself to do that
yeah,
all the time. I would go up to people and form conversations with complete strangers.
yeah,
And then as I would improve, I would start building rapport with strangers. And then
yeah,
I'd start going up and asking girls out. And then I really needed to work on that part of me because I knew it was really lacking, like the part of, going up. Because I had like a couple friends I talked to, but other than that, I didn't really talk to anybody.
yeah.
I was just very shy and introverted. I wasn't really introverted. I was just shy in the sense of going up and actually having meaningful conversations with other people. Like in high
Yeah.
school, I was still kind of messing with people
Yeah.
every now and then, but
Dude,
yeah, that
dude,
was
I'm also an introvert myself, and so but isn't it like this whole going and approaching people and just talking to people like it's like to me like I hate it so much. You
really,
know?
yeah.
I just to go and approach girls and just go and talk to them with the idea that okay, I'm talking to them because like I'm interested in them and to put yourself out there like that is to me is just like I fucking hate it. And the reason why I hate it so much, this is just me, because like I was with the girl of my life and like the girl of my dreams and I married her and then like it fell apart and I'm like fuck, I got to do this shit
Right.
all over again.
All over
It's
again
like
from square
fuck
one, start
this. I
again.
fucking hate this shit. I thought I would never have to be
Yeah.
here and that's what I always like. I hated it so much. I love talking to people. Like me growing up, like I always, like I was a kid that was on the bus and I'd be talking to the stranger next to me. Like it didn't matter what age they were. It doesn't matter. Like I would always talk to like old people, young people. It didn't matter. And like I love that because I was always like curious to learn something new. Like that was always me.
Yeah.
Like oh what language is that newspaper? And they'd be like it's Korean. I'm like whoa, like I always
That's
like
my
I was
mindset now.
huh?
That's my exact mindset now.
Yeah.
Like
See,
it wasn't back in the day, but then I started, forcing myself to go and do this, and now I'm exactly like that, where it's like I want to learn new things. I want to, start talking to people, like random people, as I'm out in public.
I like the idea of learning something, but like the thing is that like I mean when you're a teen, you're a kid, or even you're like a young adult and you're doing that, like it's kind of cute, it's cool because like you're young and whatever. But like when you get older, I guess to our age, is like like women know when we go and approach them, they know
Hmm.
exactly why you're approaching them. Like I'm not even
Oh
gonna
yeah,
fucking hide it, you know,
yeah.
you know.
Why hide it?
Exactly, right? I'm not gonna fucking even hide it. And it's just like
Hmm.
to me and I just hate that, Like I'm just not used to that. Like me growing up, I've always been used to like girls coming to me and me being like, "No, sorry, I'm not interested," like but
Like
like
no.
and then
Okay, next.
and then when you get to this like older now, you're like, "Okay, okay, I'm getting older." And I'm like, "Okay, now I got to put myself out there." And I've done that and I hate it. And you just like it's almost like to me I don't know about you man but to me it feels like I'm fucking punishing myself. I'm like fuck okay I'm punishing like fucking let's go like fucking
I,
fall
I
on my face again, let's fucking do this you know
I can understand that, like, for sure at like a bar or at a club when girls are expecting to get approached and they're
yeah
just like, okay, here we go again, another potential candidate. And it's almost like they're the ones that have that interview mindset, because it's just like they know that
they
people are
know
going to be
exactly
coming
what's
up to
happening, they
them.
know why you're
Hmm.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but like they're going to be getting slam approached all day, where it's
exactly.
or the whole night.
See
But in the daytime, they're kind of caught off guard. They're like, wow, because no one does. Like, I know so many guys, and they won't go and approach a girl at Starbucks. They won't go and approach a girl during the day, and it's
that's
just
true.
like You might as well, because you're only limiting yourself if you don't.
Which is true, which is exactly. And then at the same time, it's like if you don't approach them, you're gonna be like, "Fuck, there was that girl." And
Oh yeah.
if I had just approached her, like maybe she seems interesting. Like, why the fuck did I not? And then you kind of almost kind
Yep.
of beat yourself up, like, "What are you like? Are you fucking scared? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?" I'm like, "No, fuck, I
I've
ain't
had a
fucking
couple
scared. I'm
nights
fucking
like
going.
that.
Let's go." So, but you see, like you have experience with like the club scene and the bar scene. I don't drink and I don't go clubbing.
Mhm.
And so like I don't have any experience with that. So that's not even my scene in general. But if I was gonna approach people, it's gonna have to be in normal day life because that's just like this like even for
Mhm.
my ex when I met her, like I met her in a normal day life, and
Oh,
even then
did
she
you
was the one
go
who asked me like, here, just why don't you just take my number? Like I didn't even ask her for her.
really?
Yeah. So like she's
So
like,
it
I asked her like yeah. So she was talking to me. She's like, here, why don't you just take my number? And I'm like, okay, fine, sure. Like, so like
yeah.
but like but like, not to say that like I did like I still wasn't like I don't put myself out there. I do, but I
Mhm.
mean I to me like it's always got to happen in normal day life. But it is true. Like if you don't go and approach people or talk to people, you're never gonna be able to get to that skill level that Devin Gamble is at. You know what I mean? It's just never gonna happen. You know.
Oh, it's true. Like the more you practice anything, right? The more work you put into anything, the more you're gonna get out of it.
But one
And
thing I've yeah sure finish your thought.
no, I was just gonna say, like I love now working on my weaknesses, like thinking, okay, what am I really bad at? Like, and that was in high school or just out of high school. It's like, well, I can't talk to girls. I didn't I didn't even talk. I didn't even have a girlfriend. I'd barely even hugged a girl in high school.
Yeah.
I think I hugged maybe one girl and that was it.
Dude, I never
But
hugged
after,
a girl in high school ever. I was pretty proud of it. I was just like, fuck, I didn't hug no girl. Like I was proud of it. I was just like, my
it's like
girl, when I
yes,
marry her, she's gonna appreciate how much work and discipline I put into myself. I never hugged any of these bitches, even though they wanted hugs. You know?
yeah, yeah.
Hey man, let's see. It's not like she actually cared in the end, anyways. But like, so like, you never did that, but like you wanted to, and then eventually you saw that as a weakness and you worked on it. Is that what you
Yeah,
did?
exactly. Yeah. I worked on it too because like I'd have the same thing where it's just like, why did I'd be beating myself up the whole night? Like, why didn't I approach her? Why didn't I just say hi? Why didn't I do this? And then you just have that constant like
Yeah.
those voices constantly rolling back and forth, and your head you're just thinking like, I'm trying to watch TV right now, man. Like, shut up. Like, okay, fine, I'll do it tomorrow, so I won't have this shit like going on in the back of my mind.
Well, hey, at least you got a second chance. You know what I mean? I mean, there's in
Yeah,
normal day life, if you don't approach the person, you'll probably never see that person ever again. So like,
exactly.
you're gonna
Yeah.
be like, fuck, I
Hmm.
don't know what happened. Like if I had just met that like talk approach at least. See, that's the thing. Like when you like obviously in the whole dating scene, whenever you get, was that you?
Oh yeah, I'm just readjusting.
Okay. Um, sorry, just one second. Let me just turn the sound off. Sorry. So yeah, what I was saying is that oh shit. Sorry, one second.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Din, 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 din,
I know.
din.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it friggin' doing its thing?
Like vaguely, yeah.
Oh my god. All right, cool. All right, hopefully it's not gonna happen now. Okay. All right.
Take
So yeah. So what I was saying is that like in today's world, like whenever you go out, if you don't approach, you'll that person will be gone, and you'll be like it'll always be stuck in your mind, and
yeah,
it's almost like um you'd rather like be shot down than
a
to live
hundred
with
percent,
regret,
100%, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That,
It's
that
like I picture the worst. Like I've gone through this before. Like, what is the worst possible thing that could happen? Like, if I approach and then someone comes by and pulls my pants down and dumps a pail of water on my head and says, "Fuck you, man! Like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Like, approaching this girl?" Like I just think of the very worst possible situations. And then I think to myself, would I rather have that happen, or would I rather walk away with all this regret? Because I've sat on that regret and that pain before, and I
Yeah.
hate that feeling of just not being at your true, not knowing that, or not having fulfilled your true potential, and you're just sitting there like, fuck, you're just beating yourself up the whole night, and that is the worst feeling.
Wow, I guess that would be it's interesting. Like you see it in terms of potential as well. Like I mean, I always like overall I see it as like okay, I got to make myself a better person. But I never thought in my life that I would have to be like I got to make myself better at dating. Like I just wanted one person. Is that so fucking hard? Like just one person, just one. You know, like
But it's a crazy thought too, like that there's what how many people are in the world? There's like what 8 billion,
okay, yeah,
and I think I believe it's 51% female, so there's just over like 4 billion girls out there. all over the world.
All you need, I mean, I just want one. I just
Yeah,
want one that I
just one.
like.
That's it. Yeah. But what I'm saying is just like there's so many, like she could be anywhere out there, you know.
It's interesting. Like people think and talk in terms of numbers, and I talked to a lot of people, and they talked about their dating life and their breakups and things like that. And I was talking to this one person, and she described how she was like, basically only been with one person, but once that broke, and she was also married to this person, and it broke. Um, she went on this basically like fuck spree. Like she just literally went around and like I don't know what better way to say it. She literally fucked a new guy like almost on a daily basis. And she said to me, like after when I went through my breakup, she's just like, don't do this because it gets addicting. And I'm like, oh shit, like that stuff can be addicting. And she's like, yeah, it can be really addicting. And then all of a sudden she went through like this catastrophe in her life, and they kind of ended or she ended up in the hospital, and then she kind of came to her senses, and she's just like, I'm never going to do this again. But it
Yeah,
took her
she
to
got
end
it
up in
out
the
of her system.
hospital. It took her to end up in the hospital to realize that like it wasn't worth like going on this fuck fest for like who knows how for like a year. And I'm
Oh
like,
God.
shit. Like I've heard of this in the movies. I've heard stories, but I didn't know that this shit could be real.
But why did she end up in the hospital because of something related to the fuck
No,
spree
no,
or
no,
like?
no, no. It had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do
Okay,
with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, I see. And then she just kind of had that like revelate like that
Yeah, she's
epiphany
just
of
like,
like,
what
huh,
am I doing with my life, kind of thing. And probably her
I
life
see.
is kind of like in like she's just like she's in the hospital, and she's like, holy shit, like I probably like I could have died. Like what's going on, and what am I doing with my life? And then she probably came to realizations. But like it's almost like I get it. Like when some people they go th- like the people deal with heartache differently, right? Some people
Yeah,
like go and like they'll go and just be like fuck it, and they'll just go and do whatever. Whereas some people might be destructive in other ways.
right.
But like um yeah, so like, and what surprised me was just like, I get it when people can do it from pain. They're just like they're trying to get over someone. And they're just like dating a different people, and I get it. With like all a girl's gotta do is just open up her legs, and like literally any guy's gonna go. So like
Yeah,
it's not
you
hard for
you.
yeah, like it's not hard for them to find a new partner every day. Every day, like guys, like, they gotta put in a lot more work.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Like I mean, there's no doubt about it. But like when she said that it makes a person it can become addicting, just that cycle of just someone new and every single day. It can be like it can be addicting, and I was just like, wow, that something like that could actually become addicting. It just surprised me. Weigh in on that. Did you know that?
That I could see it. Yeah, I could see how it would become addicting,
Yeah.
but like I don't know about that. Every single day, that's a
I mean,
little
that's an exaggeration, but I'm just like trying to put it into
but
perspective. Like it was a revolving door of like of a lot of people that I
but
probably lost count of how many.
well, again, like you said, right? Like I wonder what it would be like to even be a decently attractive girl. Like I've seen girls with like 600 followers on Instagram, and they're like below average looking, and their DMs are just like
Which is true,
it's
yeah. Like
it's
you'd be surprised.
crazy.
But like I said, like all a girl's gotta do is freaking like open up her legs, and guys need to know like, oh, like the market's open, and they're just all gonna
Yeah.
go, like
Yeah.
you know. So like she don't. It's not like they have to put in any effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's true.
I mean, there's a saying among guys. I mean, this might sound misogynistic or whatever. I don't know what you guys have to say about it, but like they like a lot of guys will be like they're like even if the girl's ugly, they have this phrase of saying like it's okay, put a bag over it or some shit like that. Like so like if there's these phrases and there's these ways of like describing it, like to them it's not it's all physical. It's not like it has anything to do emotionally, anyways. So like
Oh, you mean with guys, it's all physical?
yeah,
Like in
generally
the
it,
general
it
sense?
stems from
Yeah.
physicality, right? Because
Right.
if the mentality is like, oh, if the girl's ugly, screw it, man, just put a bag over her head and do her. Like it's fucking like the mentality is that like there's no emotional connection anyways,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And the girls have to be like emotionally invested, and they have to be very trusting towards the guy,
Right,
or
but then
trusting enough,
on the
right?
flip side, you would think that, but girls are there's are many girls that are the same way. They're there for the physicality. They're not there for the emotional connection. Because if they were there for the emotional connection, you wouldn't be hooking up on a daily basis, right?
Right. Right.
It's because the physicality outweighs the emotional side. Sure, there's
But
probably
all
an emotional side to it, but they're not looking for that. So like
right.
I guess these people match each other. Whereas like I can understand where if people are looking for an emotional connection, the other person looking for an emotional connection, chances are when they match each other, they're probably gonna end up in a relationship because that's what they're looking for.
Right. Yeah. You kind of you have to kind of cater to the intent,
Right, exactly.
right? Like,
But like the idea that like, oh, this can become addicting, and like when saw that this girl saw that, I went
mhm.
through a breakup, and I was just like, I think I might just become like a good boy gone bad, and she just kind of knew exactly where that could be headed, and she's like, no, don't do that, like, like hear my story and like what I went through, and I was just like, wow, like thanks for sharing, but like I had no idea that, and right, and like apparently like I think that's something that I think people should know, especially if you're gonna go down that rabbit hole. Like that rabbit hole goes way deep.
Yeah,
You,
oh for sure. Yeah, that's why you see people like Rihanna and I'm trying to remember who else, but they go to like sex addiction. Steve-O from Jackass went to like sex addiction therapy,
yeah, that's
and
true. I mean, sex addiction is a thing. But then again, I can understand with like celebrities because like literally you have like the amount of groupies and girls that want to
oh,
sleep with you, and like it's just always there. So
hmm
like I get it, and like obviously like I said, as a guy, now it's less work. Now all the guy's got to do is just say yes when he's a celebrity, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, literally.
like so it's like imagine you were Justin Bieber. Like if you like, I'm pretty sure it would not be difficult for you to find a girl that wants to sleep with you every single day.
It's
It's not
like
gonna be. It's not gonna.
you don't even have to say anything. Like,
So I get, but the idea is like, what do you do with this power whenever you're heartbroken, and would you like, let's say you went down that rabbit hole, would you regret it, or would you just, or do you have the mentality now because you've thrown yourself out there meeting other girls and maybe starting doing all that while you were in high school, that now it doesn't really phase you?
meaning, okay, so meaning like
Like,
if I were to hook up with a girl like or
yeah,
very often, a different girl very often.
yeah.
Well, it depends. Like, I mean, like, if I were to, like, would it get addicting? Is what you're asking?
Would it get addicting? Would you become a lot more detached in relationships now because now sex has become a lot more meaningless, or it's become a lot more superficial? Like,
Hmm.
gauge yourself. You understand yourself better than I do. So how do you think you would react to all these things?
Yeah, I could definitely see how it could become addicting, and it would just depending on I could see how it could kind of detour you from being wanting to get into a relationship,
Oh, I see.
especially um, like seeing, or if you were hooking up with some girls that were actually in relationships, you'd be like, oh my God, like I don't want a relationship, but this, girl is doing this, and you know,
Oh,
like
so like, which
it
you
could
know, you
kind
just
of,
touched upon something completely different. That's true, because there are girls or guys, I should say
yeah,
both, that are in committed relationships and they're obviously cheating,
yeah,
right? And they'll be
yeah,
cheating for whatever reason. That's if you're a friggin' super celebrity, and they went for it. You're like, oh shit, like this girl's actually in a committed relationship and she's sleeping with you now.
yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably
Then
be
that kind of
like,
neat question. You're kind of thinking like, oh, I don't really want to get into a
with
relationship.
this
Like,
person because she's cheating on like someone, right? That is true. That is true. That's like, obviously that would be a major thing. But like, that aside, if it was someone who wasn't in a committed relationship and they're sleeping with you every single day, or random people every single day, um, I mean, then again, if you're sleeping with someone every single day, someone different, it's like, are you really looking for a relationship? Like, is that really it? I mean, probably not, right?
yeah, I mean, I mean, if it's that to that extent, probably not. But
Yeah.
you could make the excuse of saying, yeah, I'm just trying to, test out the market, right? But
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that
Like, oh, like some
becomes,
people say, like, I'm trying to explore my youth, and I'm just trying to like try
yeah,
different things. Like, I mean, that's basically become the culture nowadays, right?
hmm
Like I'm pretty
and
sure if you
and
would go back like 50 years ago, or to our, like our parents or grandparents, like generations, like this did not exist. Whereas now it has existed, and so like I guess people are kind of like indulging in it, really.
and it's so much easier now, right? Like I mean,
Yeah.
with dating apps and stuff, it's like literally like, you exchange two lines and it's just like, okay, let's go for a drink, and it's
Yeah.
just like you don't even have to meet the person, you don't even have to meet them in person.
Dude, whenever Tinder first came out, or like these online dating thing first came out, I was like, this is not gonna fly. Like, I was like, nobody's gonna go for this. I would never go for it. And now, even though that's why I feel like I'm an alien, because like, just because I would never go for it, like it blew up and it became a thing. Like it
Hmm
became like the way
Wait,
of dating. You know what I mean? And it
yeah,
would be
yeah. Well, I just remember when it first came out, like it was kind of people were really hiding it. They're like they didn't want to admit it. Like, oh, I don't have Tinder, I don't have Tinder, because it's like when Match.com and this stuff came out, people were kind of doing it behind the scenes. They're very secretive about it. Like
mm,
online dating was kind of seen as like, something that like it was seen as a desperate act. Like
Sorry,
this,
let me just
what happened?
1 second. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
like
Sorry.
in,
Yeah, go. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
in terms of like, yeah, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, even,
Hmm.
people were hiding it. They're like, oh, I don't want to appear as desperate. I'm not on Match.com or I'm not on this on that. But
Right.
now it's so accepted.
It's
It's
it's the
so like,
norm. It's like that's like if
yeah.
you're gonna date, then that's what they want you. Like it's almost it's become the norm. I mean that's the way I see it now. That's what everybody tells me. Like you should try this app. Like they met their wife and they met their husband and they met all the like I was like really?
So have you haven't downloaded any of them? You've
No,
never
so I
tried?
have I have now I have tried them. So
Okay.
I've tried these dating apps, but like I am not successful. Like zero matches. You're looking at a zero match person.
Well,
Okay.
you're a good-looking guy, so you learn to utilize the photos. I'm
I don't
telling you,
know. It's that's the
photos
thing.
in
Like
the
that's I had these other girls on here, and they're like, we can help you like pump up your profile and make it work. She's like I help my I helped a friend get it, and now he's like dating the girl that he's gonna marry and things like that because like I fix him, helped him fix his profile, and I was like I don't know how much you're gonna fix my profile that makes gonna make me go from zero to freaking hero like on a dating app. Like it's like it's
You should
freaking
make that. That'd be a good video idea, actually. Just getting girls to like, pimp out your
take a look at
Tinder
like
profile.
pimp my profile.
Yeah,
That'll,
pimp my profile. Okay,
that'll be
what you need is you need a picture of you holding a dog, or like with you and a dog of it can be your neighbors or
yeah.
whatever. Put that on there, and then put
Okay.
a photo, just like spot, and make sure your description isn't empty too.
So like I put photos. Everybody's like, yo, just put your Instagram photos. I'm like, fine, I put my Instagram photos. They're like, fill out your description. I'm like, I filled out my description, and I was just like, still is freaking zero. I was like, I don't know. I like, maybe call me an idiot or call me whatever, but I was like, I don't. I'm gonna just go out and say this. I don't think it works for brown guys. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't think it does. Or maybe
I
it
don't
just
know,
doesn't
man.
work for me. Okay, maybe actually, you know what? Shouldn't say that because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of brown guys out there that are like super good looking and whatnot, and they're probably like killing it
Like
on
you,
there.
yeah.
But I don't think it's working for me. I should just say that. Like I don't think this is made for me.
Well, okay. I've seen girls on Tinder in general, and they're very picky. Like
Yeah,
they will scrutinize a profile for like 5 minutes straight, and if someone's with too many people and they can't tell who the person is in one photo, then it's
that
a
makes
swipe left.
sense. I mean, who likes looking at a profile that is like a group of people? You're like, this is a friggin' dating app. Like, what the fuck are you putting a group photo in
Yeah,
there for? Like, what are you trying to hide in the friggin' shadows for now? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And like yeah, that's one too. And then there's also some kind of photo, like you don't have any shirtless photos of you in the bathroom, do you?
No, no, no. I don't do
Yeah.
that. See, I was like,
Okay.
is that what it takes to friggin' be successful? Because I'm not gonna do that. So I was like, is it just like everything that you see on my Instagram is what's gonna be on my Tinder profile or any other profile, and like
Mhm.
whatever is like about me that you've even read in my descriptions about my life and whatever it is, like it's gonna be in my profile. But yeah, to me it doesn't work. What did you learn from whenever you started doing all this online dating? Did you have to revamp your profile to really make it work? And you just like,
Oh
what?
yeah,
Tell me. Then walk me through. Tell me what works.
for sure. I would say you want a wide range of photos, right?
Okay.
So, and the
Yeah.
description is the most important thing because I had mine blank,
Yeah.
and I noticed that when I filled it out and made it creative,
Yeah.
like, and also you want it to also show your passions, what you're interested in, and
Yeah.
come off as, you don't want it to come off as too try hardy. You want to come off as somewhat witty, somewhat charismatic, but yeah, you also want to mix up your photos too. So you want to have, like, this is just from trial and error, right? Like I
Yeah.
tried many different times
Yeah.
or many different versions,
Yeah.
and I found that, like, you want to make your profile picture like a headshot, clear headshot,
Yeah.
have a photo of you in there, like, doing what you're doing right now. You
Yeah.
like doing this podcasting, right? So
Yeah.
maybe have a photo of you behind the mic, have a photo of you with some friends, but not too many, just to show that you're, a social guy. You like to have fun. You have obviously have some friends.
Yeah.
Um, and then you just want to mix it up. Your passions, your hobbies, include that in your profile. Make sure it's not like a grainy selfie. Because also too, like I've seen girls like swiping through guys' profiles,
Yeah.
and even their profile pictures, like they're like their
Yeah.
profile picture is them like a selfie. Like, no, yeah, try to limit the selfies. Try to limit like the grainy photos.
Yeah.
The group pictures of like 12 people. The bathroom selfies.
Yeah. So so basically you're saying show your life out there, make it as
Yeah, make
interesting as it is, and girls will eventually swipe right. I don't know, maybe. I mean, I guess I'll try these things. Let's see if it happens. But like,
Yeah.
um, I don't know, man. Like, I'm getting the vibe that maybe this online dating thing isn't for me. I don't know. This is just me, but like, I feel like I do better when I meet a person, in person.
It
Like, I'm
could
just
be
like
very.
that's just me. Like
Mhm.
I would much rather approach a person, talk to them, land on my face, even as much as that hurts, than to like friggin' do this online dating bullshit because I was just like, even if they do match with me, like, what am I gonna friggin' say over text? Like, am I supposed to have game on text now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's to me like I am the worst texter. I'm the worst message sender. I will try to go on the date as soon as possible.
Right.
Like when there's like I will get her from the app to texting, texting to okay, let's
Yeah.
go for coffee. Because and then you can do all that stuff in person.
Yeah.
I know guys that are really good with text game. I'm not.
Yeah. Like, I'm not. I am
Yeah.
zero. Like, I was one of the things I was really lucky for. Like, when I ended up with my ex, like, she hated text. I hated text. It just worked out. Like, we would just be talking the whole
Two
way
anti
through.
texters.
Yeah, like the
That
friggin' hated text. Like, I was just like, okay, is this the universe telling me I gotta fucking like improve my text game? Like,
yeah.
for what? Like, for what? So like, so your way of navigating is that you're like, fuck the text. I ain't gonna get good at this. I'm just gonna try and move this to like talking right away.
Yeah, because I've also made the mistake too of trying to be way too overly witty through text, and then you're going back and forth,
Yeah.
and you might be making her laugh, you might be,
But you
carrying on the
come off too try
conversation.
hardy as well. Like, I mean, when you do all that shit, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, too try hardy, and it also it's just like the more and more time that goes by without you guys actually meeting up and without furthering that action,
Yeah.
the more and more she's going to lose interest, and then the more and more you're going to kind of put yourself in the friend zone if you're just kind of being the stand up, entertaining monkey that's just making her laugh all the time, but you're not meeting up, in person, right? So there's
You said it. That was the best way to put it. That's exactly it. You
yeah.
know. No, that makes complete sense, man. But let's see. I mean, this whole dating thing, like, doing the dating thing now at my age for the first time. Like I said, I should have been friggin' 16, 18, friggin' doing that for the first time. Had this epiphany in high school, and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna meet girls, and and you went for it, and then obviously you had all these years to kind of refine yourself. I'm entering this shit now, and it's just
Hmm.
like, and I'm just, to me, I don't know about you, but I mean, to me, I feel like, what the fuck, I fucking hate this. And
Yeah.
the, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's just getting used to it, right? Like just growing pains.
Growing pains.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know about his growing pains, but like, the only thing I gotta say that I can relate this to is stand-up comedy. Have you ever tried stand-up comedy?
I've never tried like like going on stage and
Okay,
just doing a routine in particular. No,
okay. Have you tried improv?
I improv. I mean, I'm good at improv. Like I
But yeah,
improv
you've
like
done like improv classes or improv shows. Have you
not
ever done any of
not
that?
like not shows or classes, but like I do it all the time in
You do it all
regular
the
life.
time, yeah,
I
yeah.
just come up with stuff like right away.
But you have
Yeah.
you have you ever failed in public? Like, you're in it. You're doing the improv. You're
Uh-huh.
fucking in it, and you're just like, fuck, and you failed. Like, you fucking lose character, break character. Some shit happens. Has it ever happened?
Yeah, yeah, more so like I mean, yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure it has.
exactly. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Like, so that, like, same thing happens in stand up. Like, you go fucking, full energy, giving it your all, and then it fucking fails. And that's like when you, like, to me that's that moment of like landing on your face,
Hmm.
and you have no choice with the spotlight on you, everybody's still watching, and you gotta pick yourself up
That's it.
in
Yeah.
that moment, dust yourself up, and fucking keep
Hmm.
going. And it's still rolling. It's not like they call cut and be like, okay, you run
That's
off into
right.
the corner and be like, guys, don't see me anymore. Let me just recover. I'll be right back. Like,
Yeah.
no, you gotta friggin' build yourself back up right then in that
Mhm.
moment. And that's, to me, that's the only thing I can equate this to. It's just like, okay, fine, I've done this on stage so many times, and I fucking fall on my face, and I fucking hate it, but like, I get back and do it again, and then now I'm doing the same thing but in real life, and that's the only thing I can equate this to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the way I see it. So like, even whenever you're doing your YouTube skits or your YouTube friggin' improv, like, you can't break character, because if you do, you're like, fuck, like,
Yep.
you screwed up. And you're like, that was gonna be such a good take, and like, I had it roll in, but like, fuck, I screwed up. I said this instead of that, or like, whatever. Like,
Hmm.
you're in your head a lot. So like, to me, that's the only exciting part about it. Is just like, it's that. It's like, I guess, yeah, you can improve yourself, but at the same time, it's like, all right, fuck it. I'm like, I'm probably gonna land on my face here, but fuck it. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you just got to think of like the worst that can happen, worst thing that can happen, right?
Well, what's the worst that can happen? They might call the cops or security. You know,
Well, yeah, but then they escort you off the property and you're
that's
good,
happened.
right?
Has that happened to
No,
you?
no, not me personally, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying like
Yeah.
what like really, what is the worst that can happen?
That's true. Like so, like you've done some pretty ballsy shit in your videos. You've never been like busted and been like, hey, we gotta, we see your cameras, turn off your
You mean in
cameras
my?
or
I thought
erase it.
Sorry, I thought you meant like in terms of approaching girls. Yeah, I've had security
Oh no,
call them
no,
multiple
I'm talking about your
times.
YouTube stuff. Like,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, approaching girls, I don't think no one's gonna call like the security on you. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. But I'm talking about like just like
oh
the
yeah.
reason why I was saying like I was equating the both is because it's the same
Mhm.
feeling of like falling on your face if you screw up or whatever. But as far as YouTube goes, I mean, has it ever gotten to that place where you're like, fuck, like I've been escorted out and shit like that?
For sure. Yeah, I've gotten kicked out of multiple malls, campuses. Cops
Yeah,
called on me.
cops
Yeah,
called on you?
yeah.
Shit. So like, wasn't how do you freaking handle that? Like, how'd that go down? Did you just be like, did they take your name and they'd be like, you're never allowed in this mall again? Like,
Yeah, it's always for the dumbest stuff too.
yeah,
Like and like for instance the mall, yeah, like I've gotten lifetime bans for literally just like bringing a camera in. I remember I was filming at a mall one time and we weren't even doing anything that crazy,
yeah.
but like they caught us filming something and then the mall security said you got a lifetime ban from this mall. It's like what does that really mean though? Like
Yeah.
who's going to make sure that we don't come back in the mall?
Yeah.
You
Shit.
know?
So they took ID from you and everything.
No, they didn't take ID. They just asked for our names and
Yeah.
that was that. I mean, it's just mall
Yeah.
security in that particular
Oh, okay. What about
circumstance.
was it more scary or with the police?
Yeah, with the police it was too, because like you don't know why they were called, because it's just like okay, they show up,
Yeah.
and then I remember one time I was pretending like there's a video on my YouTube channel when I was acting crazy
Yeah.
in public. I was
Yeah.
just kind of screaming, and then someone said that there
Just
was this
fucking
erratic.
ballsy, man. Screaming in public like, oh shit,
Yeah, I was
I
literally
can't
acting
do
like I
that.
lost
Maybe
my
you can
mind.
get away with doing it, but I fucking can't do that.
Yeah,
Like I need to make sure that if I'm gonna do this shit, like I am not gonna get arrested, guys. Like you know what I mean? Like
yeah, and
someone
there's
please tell me like I am not gonna get arrested because I was like, it's like it's freaking hard. You know what I mean?
hmm yeah, and
So you were
it's
acting crazy. They called the cops on you. What happened?
the cops showed up. They asked what we were doing. I explained it to them, and they said, you want to ruin your life making YouTube videos, and it's like, it's just such an old-fashioned mentality because it's just, I can't understand when it's like, people are like, why don't you go get a real job?
Uh,
When you're doing like podcasting or even making YouTube videos, and it's just like, why don't I go get a real job where I go work for somebody else and go climb the ladder for years and years, and I'm just gonna make more money and in turn have to pay more taxes and keep working for someone else my whole life? Like,
yeah.
it's just
You
I
don't
don't
even get to
understand
live
that.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Which is why even like I've been very interested in getting started into podcasting and
Yeah.
stuff too. And I
Yeah.
really like what you're doing and you're doing with your Instagram and your social media in general and just
Yeah.
this, right?
This
Like
is just my life story. I'm just fucking putting my life out there. I mean, I used to be a really private person. Like, I
Mhm.
never did anything. I got engaged, got married. I never posted anything about it because to me it was just like I'd rather be in my bubble with my wife and like it was our bubble and that's all it was and so I never put my life out there because I didn't care for it because my life just
Mhm.
revolved around her. The moment that bubble popped and I just like I kind of kept silent about it for about a year and then I just like fuck it. It's like I'm like it's just too much. I got to spill it out. So like
Right.
I that's all I did and then that's
Mhm.
when like this podcast came alive. I mean, I started this podcast about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but I just never aired it, and just never got off the ground. It just now the energy came because I was just so much in pain and just fucking hurting and trying to heal and all this shit
Right.
that I was just like this energy came that's just like no, you have no choice whether it's shit or not. It's fucking going up, you know.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and and that's it. And so like to me, and that's where all the writing comes from. That's where all the posts come from. It's just like all of that just stems from the energy of just like fuck, I'm fucking hurting. I just need it
Mhm.
needs to something. I need an outlet for it
Yeah.
and so that's what it is. And so I guess in a way it's also a blessing in disguise, but at the same time it's like it's still kind of torture on the inside.
Right.
Because at the same time it's like like I said I'm not a public person. I'm a private person. So to the more I make myself public, a part of me is hurting. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm an
Mm.
introvert as well. You know, so like it's like I don't I kind of just want to be in my own space and stay private and like stay with my loved ones and whatever. I don't want to make myself so public. Yes, I am an actor, but like the difference. If you look at how many actors there are out there that yes, they have public lives, but a lot of their life is actually pretty damn private.
Yeah.
You
Look
know?
at Johnny Depp. Like he's someone that comes to mind too.
Exactly. He's
Yeah.
such a public person, but his life is so private. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like it doesn't mean just because you're an actor, you're performing, it's got to be out there. It doesn't have to be.
Hmm.
It's just now I just choose to be, and like
Right.
that's doing the same thing what you did in high school, which was basically like, fuck it, I'm gonna change myself. I'm gonna do something different.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, trying something different, which is kind of new to me because I'm like, I don't know how to fucking navigate this. I'd rather just navigate the things that I'm really skilled in or I can advise people on. This is fucking new to me. I don't really want to screw up either because I don't want to I don't want to deal with the consequences of screwing up. You know what I mean? I don't want to go and go through a fuck fest and be like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that. And especially a guy like me, like I grew up like being so pure, and purity was such an important thing to me because the idea was like I'm saving it, I'm giving, I want to give it to the person I'm in love with, and I want
Right.
to
Right.
spend my life with her. So like that was such a big thing for me. So like that's why relationships, like it holds such great value in my life. That's the reason why like my world revolved around her, because it makes
Hmm.
sense. But like I can understand if you're a person that grows up and like relationship isn't your world, then it's never going to be that. Something else is your world, whatever it is.
Right.
It
Right.
could be your career, or it can be like
Hmm.
you making it in the NBA or whatever it is. But to me, it was the relationship side, and that's probably why I'm so interested in it. That's the reason why I probably have a podcast about it, and I can talk about it for hours with like so many different people. But yeah, so like that was me. So I'm just trying to figure out the ropes of what it is now. At the same time, I also kind of feel like an alien because like you talk about what your experiences are, and I'm like, dude, I can never do what you do or like what everybody else does. So like this is all new to me, and I probably will never step in that zone, or maybe I will, but not in that same way. So I
Hmm.
feel really alien about this. So the idea is like now I just like, okay, let me understand this. Let me understand what you guys go through and understand people. So like it's kind of like that kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's cool too when you kind of like I like to kind of get inside people's heads and see
Yeah.
why they do what they do and see why they react to certain things as well too. So I understand that too. And that was
Exactly, right? And that's exactly why you're doing these freaking like YouTube social experiments. Like I
yeah.
did this one video. It's years ago. I'm pretty sure you guys could probably Google it, and it's fucking still there. Um, I did a put your number in my phone video back when that was like really popular, and I was like, I did
Really?
that. This was years and years ago,
Hmm.
and it was me and a group of friends, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this video because it was popular, and like let's just see if we can do it. And I went through like emotional torture doing that for myself, like because that was just not me to do this.
I gotta dig up this video, man.
And it's funny, like I think the video got taken down, but there was already people that had retook that video and reposted it. Like I don't even know who these people are and why why they reposted it, but it was there. And like so it might still be on YouTube, but the idea is that like that's why I'm only in it for a little bit, because I was just like, I fucking hate this. And
So
it just
what I'm just curious, like what didn't you like about doing it? Was it
the
just kind
reason
of
why I hated it was because like going and approaching was no problem. Talking to
Mhm.
the girls, no problem. Like I just do that in my normal life. I talk to people. But what I hated was the fact that I'm going in to ask them for their number, and they're gonna give me their number, and then I'm gonna tell them later, okay, by the way, it was just all for a YouTube video. Like
Yeah,
I hated that. I did not want to do that to someone, right?
especially if
And
there's genuine interest too, right? Especially if they're just like, okay.
exactly. So this girl was just like, "Yeah, you don't hear my number," and stuff. I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna break this to you." Like, I would rather the girl just kind of like put you down and be like, "All right, see you later." Like, I'm okay with that. Even that, I kind of hated as well because like, I hated putting myself out there. Like I said, it's just like going out and like fall on your face, which is I'm okay with, but at the same time, like I just hated it because just I'm so used to like girls just coming to me and like and now I'm
You
going to like
stud.
do this. Yeah, I mean, well, obviously that would happen to anybody if they grow up with a life of they're not going to approach any girls. So like eventually you're going to go through a life where some girl's going to like you, and and then
Mhm.
and you're not going to be interested, and then they're eventually going to try. Like that's just bound to happen because you're not the type that goes in and tries them anyways. So like I don't really think much of it, but like the idea is it's like just to go and like approach someone and like with the intent of like trying to date, and like it just wasn't me. And then to
Mm.
do the YouTube video with like I'm gonna do this, and at the same time I don't want the other person to feel bad about it.
Right.
And
Okay.
and then so it's layered, and like and
Hmm.
that kind of really, so I'm only in it for a little bit. The other guys, they do really really well. They were like They were good-looking guys, and so like they had no problem, and they were really funny guys. They're like you basically. You know, they know how to talk to girls, and they're witty. They have really good improvisers. So they had they were good at it. But yeah, so that was that video I did, and then and I did other videos. I might have a few other and where we're like out and just talking to people, and that was more in my zone where I'm just talking to people about like just their opinions and stuff like that, like kind of like a host. That I think that's more up my alley. But
Yeah, well,
like
you're just kind of interviewing them, like just asking them.
yeah, like what like I think it was the question was something about the friends. How do you know when you're in the friend zone, and how do you avoid being in the friend zone?
Oh,
So like I
yes.
would ask random people, and people would tell me what they think, and to me that's more fun, right?
Hmm.
So like yeah, I think that's more up my alley. But like the idea is like I love this thing like basically what you do, which is like the whole social experiment thing. Like you go in with this character playing this thing, going to Starbucks or going to the bank or like I don't even know, friggin' at a friggin' bar, shouting the fuck, like I was like, shit, man. I was just like, and I was just like, damn, like I was like, that seems like fun. That's something like I could totally do, but I understand where that comes from, man. Why you're doing it, and because it's like that's like I'm like that's something that I would love doing. I love to see like what are people gonna do? How are they gonna react?
Yeah,
What do they say they're gonna do, and what do they actually do? Because there's a
yeah.
huge fucking difference.
Oh,
They all
100.
say like, "Oh, this happened. I would do this, and I would do that, and I would tell this person off. I would tell him to his face." And when that shit actually happens, and
Yeah.
you fucking test it, you're like, "Oh, bullshit! You didn't do jack
Hmm.
shit. You
Yeah,
sat
it's
off on the
completely
side,
different.
and you just fucking watched." You
Yeah.
know?
No,
So
it's
like,
so true. Like how people, what people say,
yeah.
or how people say they're gonna react, and then how they actually react in the situation.
Exactly, man. And that's the thing about life, man. It's like you'll never know what they're gonna do until the test is put in. And that's the same thing goes for ourselves, man. We think that we're gonna react a certain way, we're gonna do certain things, and then when that test comes in life, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you kind of see how you actually react. Like same thing goes for like as far as my life goes. Like I thought that if my wife ever cheated on me, I would be fucking out. I'd be like, fuck you, I'm out. You know?
Hmm.
And what I realized about myself was that like no, even though she did what she did, I was still fucking there. Like that's how deep I was into it. I was like, I'm still fucking here. I fucking hate holding on to this. I'm fucking burning my hand just fucking holding on to this relationship. I'm fucking like lighting myself on fire holding on to this, but someone fucking save me because I'm still fucking here.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
I kind of got to see like what I'm made of and like how deep my sincereness goes and even though I fucking was miserable and I hate it, I still held on, because something deeper was like kind of anchored
Hmm.
and connected. So, yeah, I think that's just life, man. Like well, people say things, but then we won't know until it actually gets tested. And I think,
Yeah.
and isn't that what the way the army works? Isn't that what the Navy SEALs go through? They could friggin' go through shit, thinking that they can go so much, and then they break, and
Hmm.
then they see where their limits are, and then they fucking go through it again to see if that same limit is there again.
Right, and they just keep testing themselves and seeing if they can
Exactly.
push further past, where they were before.
Exactly, and that's exactly it. And that's why I have this one post which talks about breaking. Break fast, break deeper, break forward, and because that's exactly what happens in the army. It's about them breaking, going past their breaking point, and then revisiting that breaking point and seeing if that's the same breaking point or if they pushed it further.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
along the way they've gotten stronger, right?
Hmm. No, it's true. Like you can really like mentally test yourself too, and keep
Absolutely.
pushing yourself past your limits.
Uh, Absolutely, man. You even talked about yourself in high school, and you were approaching girls, and it took you 3 hours, or you were there for them all for hours. Were you there by
Yeah.
yourself that day, or were you just
Yeah,
with?
I do it. I do it always by myself. I'd always. I didn't want any crutches, anything,
See,
any friend to help me out, any wingman. Like I knew it was an issue I had to address, so I did it, and I refused to leave them all until I just talked to one.
see, and that takes friggin' that itself takes guts. A lot of people won't fucking do that. Just to be like, you know what? Fuck, I don't want any crutches. I'm gonna fucking go. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
fucking go on my own. I know this is gonna be fucking embarrassing, and it's me dealing with myself. I'm picking myself up on my own, but I'm gonna fucking do it. And like that friggin' takes guts. And then not only that, to go through it and then find your new breaking point, and then to go again and
Hmm.
again over time, like that was you in high school and it took you hours, and then you said like I'm not leaving until I talk to one girl or one
Yeah.
person. And then over time you kind of you were able to get better and better, and you were able to find
Hmm.
like a new medium and just like get better at it. See, and so the same rules basically apply. You only thing is that this time you were testing yourself, finding your the limits to your capacity, and then pushing that limit further.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then just try to get better each and every time. And then even if I did, because I knew what would happen, where I'd progressively take steps back, or I wouldn't perform as good as I did the previous day, or
Yeah.
I wouldn't reach my goal, I would make sure that I made up for that the next day. So it's like, it's kind of like I don't know, my grandpa always said when I was younger, he's like, whatever you don't eat for dinner, you'll end up eating for breakfast the next morning. So it's like, whatever you don't get done, whatever you don't accomplish, the next day it's going to be twice as much, or the next day you're going to be playing catch up from the day before. So it's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, if you don't completely, and this just goes with anything, where it's like,
Mm.
if you don't get what you wanted to get done in the day, it's like, okay, well, it looks like tomorrow I'm going to get, you know, two times more things done because I slacked this day, right? So,
Oh, so so basically saying your grandpa was saying that it compounds, like whatever you didn't finish today gets carried
yeah,
forward to tomorrow. So you got more debt to go through.
exactly, yeah.
Interesting. That's an
Yeah, so
interesting
if you
thought.
yeah, it's like, okay, so if you want to take the lazy way out, and it's like, if you didn't accomplish something that you knew you had to that one day,
Yeah.
I'll be like going to bed like, okay, well, I know it's going to be that much more intense tomorrow.
Oh, that's an interesting way of phrasing it, because I understand that as well, but I see it differently. I see the world in cycles. So like if you don't improve a certain skill set of yours, or a flaw of yours, or some weakness of yours, that will cycle again in your life at another point in time whenever that comes to test. So either way,
Yeah.
that homework has been pushed off to the future, and
Hmm.
it'll probably come a lot more heavier and harder, but you're gonna have to go through it no matter what, how you like it.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
basically
You
the
can
same
sweep it under the
concept.
rug.
Yeah, exactly. So just
Mm.
and that goes to show that's exactly it. So if you don't work on it today, which is exactly how your grandfather says, if you don't
Yeah.
work on it today, you're gonna have to work on it tomorrow, but it's just gonna be more of it. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
use the word cycles. He used it as a different phrase, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
exactly. And I totally agree. I totally agree. There's just some
Yeah.
things that whatever work you need to get done, you're just gonna have to do it
Hmm.
eventually. I mean, if you don't, then I guess that'll be your life. You might live in regret and being like, I wish I had overcome this or that. I wish
Yeah.
I had, like, yeah, I wish I had improved myself in whatever that was.
Hmm.
I think a lot of the work is identifying what you want to improve on. You did that in high school, right? You're
Yeah.
like, fuck, I
Yeah.
want to
That
improve
was
this. Like, fuck it. This is my strategy. This is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that was exactly it. Because you just get to a point where it's just, okay, enough's enough. I have to, like, I'm just using whatever now. Like, like you get to a point where you're, 350 pounds, and you're sitting there on a couch, and you're eating a cake and a dozen eggs and drinking a 2 liter thing of Coca-Cola, and you're just like, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, well, fuck, I gotta cut this shit out. Like, I gotta lose some weight,
Yeah,
or whatever it is. You get to a point where you're just like, okay, I'm sick of doing this. I need to
yeah,
change, and
yeah.
then
When you gonna decide to do that change is really what it is. Because like, I mean, think about it.
yeah,
If you're gonna wait till you're fucking 300 pounds, like that's a friggin' steep hill to climb. That's a lot of
yeah,
fucking work.
yeah, you're
You know
just
what I mean?
making itself.
I'm,
And what
yeah.
were you gonna say?
What I'm gonna say is like it's a steep hill to climb. It's a lot of fucking work, and like people get it done. They still get it done. But I'm just saying it's a lot of fucking work.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
if you think you don't have to put in the work,
Mm.
you're gonna have to put it in eventually. Just like I said, the hardest part is deciding that this is what you need to work on, and are you gonna work on it.
Hmm.
It's nice whenever you have someone I believe in life that is gonna help, is gonna be there in the journey with you along the way, whether it be a family member, a girlfriend, a wife, a sibling, whatever, a friend.
Hmm.
I think that kind of makes the burden a little bit less, and you can get through it a little harder, a little bit easier. But dude, sometimes I guess you just got to go through it alone, man.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Sometimes, as bad as it sounds, like, as crazy as it sounds, like, sometimes you just have to sit and reflect with the pain just by yourself, and just not have anyone try to lift you up, because that you'll be sitting there, and then you'll
Yeah,
wake up the next day like, I never want to feel that feeling again, and that pain and regret. So I'm gonna completely make sure that I'm never gonna feel that again.
dude, the pain and regret, like that's like the worst feeling in the world.
Exactly.
It is probably the most absolute worst feeling in the world. That's why I thought it's probably why. Like, I mean, I don't know about you. Like, do you have any regrets in life? I mean, I do. I don't know about people that say that. Oh, I have no regrets in life. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit, man. Everybody's
My
got
only
fucking.
regret is not having any regrets.
Yeah. like
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like, I believe everybody's got fucking regrets. I don't think anybody's out there that doesn't have regrets.
Yeah.
And that's why, to
I,
me, I was just like, man, I wish I had a fucking time machine, man. Like, I'd go back in time and like fucking redo shit, like, or like,
Oh yeah, I think everyone would, like, whether they want to admit it or not. There
yeah.
are some things that they would go back and redo.
Yeah, not even just redo, man. Even if they said you can go back and, like, here's a time machine, you can only go back and review the past. I'll be like, fuck, That's the best fucking thing to go back, review the past. I'm like, fucking, I
Mm,
want to go and review that. Let me see
let's
what I
do it.
fucking missed. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
I think we'd probably improve a lot more. But yeah, I think the society has changed. I think a lot of society has improved over time. So like everybody's kind of working to make themselves better. So I think um, you know, the for I think that's probably why like even in the dating scene, I mean, people have stepped up their game in a lot of ways. I think and you just got to step up even more now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
To get yourself out there.
Yeah. It's even weirder in 2022, right? Because it's like
Giant
you
fucking
can't.
curveball, man, thrown at you now.
Yeah, like you can't even. I know in. Are you in Toronto right now?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
we? Okay, so even in Toronto, it's like if you're gonna go to a date, you or on a date, you can't even really like meet at like a coffee
That's
place
true.
or like a restaurant, right? And then
To
it's
me,
cold
that's good. I
outside
love
too.
it though. I gotta say, man, I fucking love it because like I am not, like I said, I'm an introvert. So like to do this, like let's meet at the club, let's meet at the bar. Like like I'm alien. This is a fucking
Hmm.
like I don't do this shit. So like to me having a conversation, like the moment, like if I can get to a conversation that I can do. So like
Hmm.
if someone's like, let's have a freaking like a remote freaking call or like like whatever, like that I can do.
Okay.
So to me that works. So this whole
Right.
freaking COVID thing, like being remote, like I'm okay with that. But to like go
I
for a
never.
coffee or do this, like I ain't like to me it's just like either way, like where do you want to sit down and have a coffee, like a talk? If you want to meet at a park bench and just sit and talk, like that's the same to me as even if you were to meet in a coffee shop or a bar, like it doesn't make a difference to me.
Right. Okay. So okay, yeah, like I just meant like in terms of like meeting up with a girl in general, but I never thought of it like that, like just kind of having like a FaceTime date,
Yeah,
or whatever the case is, especially like in COVID time when you're not really sure like where someone's been, right? So you don't want to get too close.
yeah. Does it scare you though, this whole COVID thing though? Does it scare?
Okay,
Would you like? I mean, I mean, you're out there hooking up with random chicks. So like, you tell me, are you scared
no,
of
no,
COVID?
this not even like I not so much in like the last like 6 months I haven't been,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, like in the very first few months, I was probably like the most paranoid guy that like
Yeah,
all my friends, I was trying to like, Floyd Mayweather them, dodge them, not want to hang out with anyone. I wouldn't even come close to anybody
yeah,
until like June. And
yeah,
then that's when I started kind of finally, getting back to work and
yeah,
finally started talking to people again. And
yeah,
I figured that maybe I'll start dating or maybe I'll start, meeting up with
yeah,
girls and seeing just meeting up in general, going on dates.
yeah.
And then yeah, I slowly started getting into it. So to answer your question, I do know that it is a concern,
Mm,
but it's like I'm not completely paranoid about it. I'm not like I'm still weary about it,
mm.
but like I'm not like, overly I'm not paranoid.
See, so to
What's
me,
that?
I'm so relaxed about it in the sense that like I don't know, I'm the kind of guy that like lives with my heart on my sleeve and like I go where the wind takes me. And to me, at the same time, I'm not also kind of not afraid of death. So like the way at the same time, so like if this COVID thing happens, that's why like to me, if I was in a relationship during COVID and I was with my wife, like I wouldn't care if she had COVID. Like I'm willing to fucking like like go meet her. I don't get be in the same room. I don't give a shit. Like jump in bed with her. I don't fucking care. Whereas for like I'm pretty sure like for her, like, she does give a shit. Like, if I had got COVID, she would probably be the last one to get on the flight to come see me or whatever. So like I think I can understand like everybody has like a different approach to it, but to me the whole I like to me this whole pandemic thing it doesn't really scare me in the sense that like what's going to happen to me. I might
Hmm.
be more fearful for what's going to happen to my loved ones and families and relatives and friends and society and all that kind of stuff. But as far as for me goes, like I'm not worried about that. Like it doesn't scare me. Like if someone said, here you're a journalist, we're gonna send you to like China and like go report on this and investigate this and talk to the locals about it. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Like I'm ready. Let's go. I got my moment to be a host. Let's
So,
go.
so my yeah, yeah, my that's great. My question though is for you is that just because that you think the severity of the virus itself is being underplayed, or is that just because you like you said you don't necessarily fear death and you just want to go and live life in general?
Yeah, I think it's a second one. It's just like I'm not afraid of death. I'm just like I'm just it doesn't phase me. Like to me, the way I kind of
Okay.
live life is like I live life in the sense that like I don't know how long I'll live. I don't know what's gonna happen to me in life. So I'm just gonna live it now, and I'm gonna live it without any fear, because fear doesn't. I don't like being motivated by fear. I'm not that kind of a
Right.
person, and that's the way I am.
Hmm.
Um, so like yeah, so in that sense I'm really strong. So if anybody ever says to me like if I just want to put this out there, if I mysteriously ever died anywhere in the world, guys, dude, I'm not depressed, I'm not clumsy, all right, guys, so like one
Put it
of
out there so the whole world
the
knows.
world knows if anything ever happens to me, you guys go investigate it because I would not never kill myself. I'm not depressed or clumsy or any of that shit. All right. But at the same time, I think a part of me is also kind of fearless in the sense that like not that I would put myself in danger. Like
Mm.
I'm not like that. But as far as like being like okay, fine, like a virus or something like that, will stop me from living. I'm not gonna put myself in fear. That's just it.
Right.
Or especially like if a loved one had the virus and they said you can't go see her because you're gonna probably risk your life and die. I mean like I don't care. Like my their life is more important than mine. I'm gonna fucking go. It's kind of like that same mentality. It's just like, would you give up a kidney for a loved one? Some people might think, oh, you know what? No, I need both kidneys. It's my life. I'd rather. Whereas maybe some people would be like, no, that's my kid or that's my family member.
Right.
Fuck me. I'm gonna, I want them to survive. So I think I'm more on that side of the fence.
Hmm.
So that's probably why, like, I want to be like this. I want to like achieve this romance to an oblivion because it's like to me it's like if I don't have that romance, then what's the point? What's the difference? Like I don't want to. I'm not looking to just randomly hook up with people. To me, it's just like, well, you explain this. What's the difference
Hmm.
between just having a random hookup versus just masturbating? Is it not the same?
Oh well. Well, yeah, like I see where you're getting at, with
Right.
that point, right? Where it's like there it would ideally you'd have some kind of, connection with the girl, right? To
Right.
make it because there can be that, like I mean that like with what with what you're saying, you could just easily, call up a hooker, right? Where
Well,
you'd have literally no, emotional or romantic connection with, right? Like if I'm
that's
and
true.
I'm
So
not
if you went with a hooker versus someone who's just like a one night stand, I guess there's not. Is there a big huge discrepancy between the two connections?
Yeah, there could be. I mean, like I've had, one night stands before and I've
Mm,
had like, a connection with the person. Like, we hit it off, she's fun to be around.
right.
And there's very actually few just one night stands I've had.
Yeah.
Like I'll go and, meet up with the girl again after
Right.
if I like it, or if I liked being with her. But like,
So
yeah,
you're
like
saying just hold that thought. So you had
yeah,
a one night stand with this person, but it didn't become an official one night stand because you ended up seeing the person again at some point in time. But you ended up meeting, sleeping with them on the first day of meeting, though.
right, yeah. So it wouldn't technically be a one night stand. It would be, a 2 or 3 night stand, whatever it was in that case. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
very few where it was just like one, that's it, and then, never talk to them again.
Right, right, right. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, okay. So like, I mean, but you didn't answer the question. What's the difference between, like, say, for example, you sleep with someone, it's just all a
Yep.
physical connection versus just masturbating? Is it just an extension of that?
It would be an extension, and also too, I guess it would you wouldn't be as lonely, right? Like you wouldn't
That's true.
you'd feel that physical connection,
Right,
right? Because whereas opposed to just like your hand, you
right.
know.
That is true. That is true. So
Yeah.
it's, do you feel fulfilled in any way emotionally though?
Emotion. I mean, it just depends. Depends on the girl too, because it's not like, like I still do, go on dates and
Right.
go and, I'll meet up with a girl again if
Yeah.
I like her, but it's
Yeah.
just like I'm still single, even if I'm going on multiple dates with this one girl who I like and have, intentions
Yeah.
to potentially be with
Yeah.
in the future. I'm still single at that time, so it's like, it's I can still go out and see other girls. I'm sorry to cut you off here, but I'm
Yeah.
just noticing my battery is really draining right now, so I need to go find a charger.
Go get that charger, man. Go get that
Oh yeah.
charger. We'll put this on pause for a second.
Oh yeah.
I'll just put it on me for now. 1 second now. 1 second. What's going on, everybody? Chatting with Mr. Devin Gamos. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Having a good chat. We only got about like 20 minutes left in this podcast. Probably wrap it up real soon. But the talks are getting really good. All right, we're back. Yo, you good?
We are kind of,
Your
kind of,
battery almost made it through the whole thing, man. We only had like 20 minutes left, and I was like, it was just
almost. Yeah,
it was getting good, and then I was just like, okay, fine. I was like, it's like we could end it here. We could have ended it like a few minutes early, but I was just like, no, 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 no.
we
It's
got we
getting
got to go
good,
the
man.
distance. We got to go the distance.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry, if I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh,
Um,
I remember now. My question. Do you remember what your thought was?
I kind of was rambling there for a bit. I'm trying. Okay, so oh yeah, I was saying you're asking me about like connection, as like jacking off as opposed to just like one night stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is, um, when you look for a relationship, in terms of like a giant pie, how much of that is a physical connection? How much of that is like an emotional connection that you're looking for?
Oh,
How would you
like
break it out?
um, well, yeah, you have physical, you have emotional, you also have like compatibility too. Like I guess
Okay.
that kind of sinks in with
But like,
emotional.
as far as like your fulfillment,
Well,
are you looking for a relationship where you're like, I want to be fulfilled more physically than emotionally, and like whereas where
they,
it's
they,
kind of like 70% physical and 30% emotional, or are you looking for something that's like 50
it,
50?
yeah, like I'd definitely say like yeah, 50-50. Like if it's going to be
50
long
50?
term. Because it's like I've gone on dates, before with girls that are really attractive but have no personality, and I get bored of them very
Oh,
quickly, right? Like I
oh,
need
interesting.
someone, yeah, that has a sense of humor that, there's a checklist of stuff that I look for,
Yeah.
but physical is just it gets old quick,
Yeah.
if it's
That makes
especially
sense.
if you're going to be in a relationship with someone.
That makes absolute sense. So I guess for the way you see it is that you're meeting all these girls or you're meeting all these people, and yes, okay, fine, you're basically fulfilling your needs physically for the time being, but you're not committing to something until you find someone that's kind of like compatible or deserving or worthy of what you want, that you can
Yeah.
give your full attention to the way you
Mhm.
want to give it, and then you'll take it to the next level.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I can understand that approach, and you're not the only one in that approach. There's a lot. Obviously, majority of the world is not an approach. Or I should say the majority of the country is. The world, I guess, is a little bit different depending on what country you go to. But
True.
yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. As far as your dating game goes, I mean, you started from high school. We talked a lot about your high school and how
Hmm.
you kind of improved. Walk me through like what happened after that. You got really good at it, and then what happened? Like then you like, is it now that you kind of got this skill set where you like now you're okay with talking to girls all the time, and now meeting girls has no issue with you? Like tell me about this.
Yeah, like I'm gonna speak in terms of like up until March because to answer your question, yes, I was, meeting girls as I was, going about my
Yeah.
days and going on dates and meeting up with different girls. But yeah, March to like August, I was
Yeah.
just kind of like drawing back from all that. Like I wasn't really, going on dates or anything, and
Yeah.
um, I was kind of potentially, or sorry, I was deliberately like holding back. Like I'd meet girls and then I'd kind of cancel on the date, flake out just because I was a little paranoid with COVID and
Oh,
stuff
with
and
the whole
meeting up
COVID
in
thing.
person.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like minus the COVID thing, right? Talk to me about what happened all the way before COVID happened. Like, obviously COVID
Okay.
threw people for a loop, and obviously it
Hmm.
was new for them to understand, and it was new for them to adjust and see how they're comfortable with it. But talk to me like just before COVID happened and before COVID came in the picture. Talk to me about how what was the dating scene like for you? Like was it like something that you were comfortable with and you were really happy with and you were willing to go for continue doing for the next couple of years as well, or were you actually looking to like for someone to settle down with, or were you just okay with what you had going
I
on?
was, yeah, like up until, yeah, like I was more so focused on me. Like I had goals that I wanted to accomplish, and
Yeah.
I've like with quarantine and with COVID, like I've really found that it's helped me tremendously
Mm.
in focusing on those goals and what I needed to accomplish for myself and kind of getting my own life sorted out. But yeah, like to
Goals like
answer your
what? Like what kind of goals?
goals, like career goals, and
Okay.
then just in terms of um also physically, you know, um, physically, emotionally, like all I had all these goals that I wanted to accomplish in 2020. I didn't want to let COVID interrupt that. I keep getting sidetracked though.
Did you work on them
So,
though?
yeah,
Did you get them
I did.
started?
I did. Yeah. So like before March, I was really focusing on those goals and kind of putting the whole dating thing to the side and just
Yeah.
staying focused on one thing. And then when, COVID hit, I just went all out on just really focusing on what I wanted to do, what I wanted to, make of the rest of my life, and limiting the distractions. Because I loved that I love quarantine and COVID for that sense where it's like limiting distractions. You can really focus on,
So what were
what
what
you
were the
want to.
distractions though? Was it the dating that could have been a distraction?
Yeah, it's a dating that could have been a distraction, and the kind of going around and fucking around, and
Yeah.
going and meeting other girls, and then potentially like just getting drunk and hooking up and doing all that, going to clubs at night and drinking too much, waking up the next day like kind of
With a
bogged down.
hangover or something?
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
tell me how much of, let's say COVID didn't happen. How much of your life was that distraction taking up? Was it like 50% of your life, or was it every weekend, every day? Like how much of that distraction
I
would you
mean,
say?
yeah, like I'd be going to the club like, every other Saturday,
Yeah.
and then just getting drunk, and then getting, waking up the next day and
Yeah.
just like, being walking around like kind of with an anchor attached to me.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like I
And how often
like
were you hooking up with girls, and how often were you meeting girls and going on dates, or like
yeah, I
maybe
was
talking to girls?
a couple times a week, and then it's
Okay.
just like, like I'd go and I'd spend this time with girls that I didn't necessarily see, like I didn't really feel the vibe, and it's just like, well, why am I here? Like, what's the point of,
Yeah.
like, I could be working on, my own stuff. I could be editing a video right now. I could be doing this. I could be doing that.
That's true.
And then we got locked down. The world turned upside down, and I was like, okay, well, I wanted to focus on, my own goals already. This is just like, here it's almost like the stars align. It's like now I can kind of do that and have an excuse to do that, to completely work on myself and to completely like figure the shit out. And then, I kind of just really put my head down and went to work from March to June, and then, I really have enjoyed this year.
Well,
I
then again, you have been posting YouTube videos, and I see your Instagram has have like more updates, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I've
he's actually
really.
getting out there and like shooting footage. And let me just tell you, man, like for the people who are watching, like getting out there and um uh, getting out there and filming and posting a video, it's a lot of fucking work.
Oh,
Like you see 3 minutes online, but the amount of hours and footage is friggin' crazy.
you're right. It
It's
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
like
know,
it's.
it's crazy, and then you get 3 minutes out of it, but it's like it's a lot of work. The editing,
You
the
know,
editing, the preparation, it's a lot of work. So like I when I see you posting these things, I know that you put in a lot of work, and it wasn't easy because
for
to do
sure.
even
Yeah.
one video, like even friggin' hosting anything, it's a lot of fucking work.
And especially when you're, essentially a one man show. Like if it's like I have someone else film for me, but I'm editing the videos. I'm
Yeah,
going through the footage myself, and
yeah.
I like it. It's all part of the process. I'm not gonna complain.
Well, hey man, at least you like the editing. Me, I hate editing, but I'm getting used to it now. I have a question from chat. Chat's
Yeah,
asking, is ghosting is a big problem now, as guys, especially for guys compared to girls. So apparently, guys do a lot of ghosting more than girls.
really.
When are you a culprit of this? Do you whenever you meet girls, you end up ghosting them, or is it usually amicable and then you guys both stop talking to each other?
Like when I okay, so you have like when you match, like, are you speaking in terms of
Like you
meeting a
just
girl on
mentioned,
a date?
like let's say you met a girl. We're
Uh-huh.
talking before COVID. So you met a girl. You're talking this and that. You guys maybe hooked up, or maybe you're meeting different girls along the week. Do you just randomly just ghost them, or do they message you and you just ghost them, or is it do you guys just does the conversation just fall off? And is that you like how do you guys end up not talking to each other ever again, or not seeing each other again?
Well, if I didn't feel any particular connection, if I wasn't, really, if I don't really see like a future,
Yeah,
if I don't really intend on meeting up with her again, then
yeah,
I won't be the first one to message her after. But
right.
at the same time, and I don't understand this too, because girls have
Mm,
said this to me before. It's just like, oh, well, we slept together and I never heard from you again. It's like, well, why
right.
is that like, why do I have to be the one to be messaging you? Couldn't you have just said, hey, like, what's going on here? And then I would have said, I don't really see a future with us. But it's
Right.
always like, oh, well, why didn't you message me?
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
There is that's one thing I always talk about is like it comes down to communication, and I just
Hmm.
wish that if people had better communication, then these things could have been cleared out of the way or a lot
Exactly,
easier,
yeah.
right?
I would have
You know what I mean?
answered like if a girl was just like, "Oh, so like, what are we?" or "Oh, so why didn't I hear from you?" I wouldn't have I would have not answered. I would have, said it. But
Exactly, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. And I think
yeah.
I think everyone should have a little bit more communication. I mean, if you guys um if everybody kind of puts that out there that like they're okay with speaking about what's on their mind or how they feel, I think a
Oh,
lot of the
yeah.
time you'll probably end up getting an answer in some way or form. So that was your answer,
Yeah.
chat. Um, but yeah. So just going back to like you said when you were meeting girls and before COVID and things like that. Where did you usually meet the girls? Like if you were hooking up with girls 3 times a week, where were you normally meeting these girls?
Three times. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to inflate my numbers that much, but three times.
But just in general, yeah.
Right. Yeah, like there was some, social or sorry, dating apps involved with that, so
Okay.
that
So
would be mixed
was it
in the
more? Was it
equation.
more dating apps or more in person?
It was just a personal choice of mine not to do too much dating apps because again, I
Yeah.
found it was too false advertisement-y, but mostly it was just from going about my life, meeting girls at the grocery store, at the bus stop, at
Huh.
wherever it was I'd be going at the mall. I'd say that was about 90-95% of it.
Cool.
That's just my
Interesting. So,
personal preference. I like to do that.
there you
Meet
go.
girls
There you go,
throughout
guys.
the
That's
day.
Devin knows how to meet the ladies, and at the same time, that also probably goes to show why you're able to put in so much courage and bravery into your YouTube videos, which is, I mean, I watch a lot of these videos that you do, and I was just like, man, that takes a lot of guts, man, to do the shit that you're doing.
I
And I was just
appreciate it.
like, man, I was like, do you have a team, by the way, like that is there? Or I see some of the videos. It's not always just you. I think is it always just you, or is there someone else that's also
Yeah,
filming and
sometimes I
doing stuff?
might bring my friend in, or sometimes I might me and my buddy might have a good idea, and I'll be like, okay, why don't you be in the video, man? But for the most
Okay.
part, it's just me, and then I'll have a cameraman or someone just filming for
Oh,
me.
that's it. Okay, okay, okay. So just the two of you guys. That's it.
Yep, just the dynamic duo.
Wow, two people. I thought you would have had more people, but dude, that's pretty crazy to pull that off, two people. Does he ever get nervous when the cops roll in or like security rolls up? And
And
have they ever told you like he delete the footage or anything
oh,
like anything like that?
yeah, I've gotten that before, and
Yeah,
I've gone through a lot of people
yeah,
that have filmed for me, and
yeah,
there'll be sometimes there'll be people that like I've kind of met like casually acquainted with, and they'll be like, hey man, like I'd love to go out and film for you, or I'd love to be a
yeah,
part of your video, and then all of a sudden when something like that happens, they're kind of turning away with the camera, like not associating, and then
yeah.
they don't get the clip.
Oh shit! You're like that was the moment you're supposed to get it.
Yeah, yeah, like I could
Yeah.
I could literally put together like a half an hour video of all the best footage that I never got on camera because of
Oh,
that.
it's, I get it. Whenever you have people who are your cameramen, if they get scared and they're scared of like pointing the camera and the direction where like now drama is happening or something's happening,
Yeah.
you lose the footage, man. It's hard.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just like, oh my God. Like you have to know like that your cameraman is not gonna shy away like if anything happens, if anything
Yeah, yeah,
weird
yeah.
or
You need people who got some guts. I gotta tell you, it's not as easy as people think. Making these YouTube videos, especially the prank stuff or
yeah.
the social experiment stuff, it's not easy, man. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of work,
Hmm.
and sometimes like you never know how it's gonna turn out, or if it's gonna be a complete blowout and like it's gonna fail, or like I mean, like for example, your thing, you got punched in the face, like shit, man. Things are on the line. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
might get your equipment broken or some shit like
Hmm.
that. You never know.
It's true. Yeah, because you're dealing with some unpredictable. You don't know what's going on in someone's day, right? When you're going up and approaching them and doing this fucked up stuff to them sometimes.
That's true. That's
You know,
true. That's true.
like
Yeah, I gotta say, you come up with some friggin' crazy shit. You just like, I don't know where you come up with this gibberish, or it's like it's fucking just, it's just coming up. I was like, all right, that's not bad.
well, man, like
But
I've made it a point to because I've had so many ideas before, and I'll
mm,
forget to write them down, and then it's just like, well, what the hell did I think about last time? And then
yeah,
now I'll make sure to make it a point. Like anytime an idea pops in my head, I'll write it
yeah,
down just so I can film it in the future, just so that I can be like, wait, what did I think about? Oh yeah, there was this idea. Okay, I'm gonna go
yeah.
and film that.
That's actually a good idea. Oh, I have someone in the chat asking, how do your dates react when you tell them about about your YouTube videos? Like, do you like, or like, I should say, your dates or your past girlfriends or anybody, when they see your YouTube stuff, is it something that they find attractive? Is it something that they like, or is it something that they'll kind of question you on, or if they're do you get mixed reactions? What kind of reactions
Yeah,
do you normally get?
like it's mostly positive.
Oh
It's
yeah,
mostly like, oh, that's cool that you actually, go out and do that, or that you
yeah,
have the confidence to go out and do that. Then again, it's like I can't say it's all positive. Like I have had the occasional like, oh, so why? Like they don't understand. They're like, why do you do
right,
that? Like, why do you
yeah.
like to go and do that? But that's like the very odd exception. But yeah, for the most part, it is very positive.
Yeah. Are you gonna do any future videos that revolve more around dating or with girls or meeting girls or any of that kind of stuff? Are you gonna do any of that kind of stuff?
Um, Well, I'm actually doing a short film right now, and I'm
Okay.
I'm kind of progressing into doing more short films,
Yeah.
and
Like with the script and everything that some of you wrote out and all that kind of
yeah,
doing more acting.
writing, producing, and directing, and I will keep doing the YouTube kind of prank videos
Yeah.
and social experiments, but I'm kind of progressively getting into doing short films, and right now I just shot a short film actually that I wrote, and it's
Mm.
about a relationship. It's about it's a COVID comedy basically.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay.
So
Are you the star of it?
yes, yeah.
And so you had to get some friends or to play the other roles and you're shooting it all and you're doing it all yourself?
Yeah, well, I know a good solid group of people that
Yeah.
I know like a good GOP cameraman, and
Nice. Nice.
I have a guy that's gonna kind of direct the scenes to play to the camera, uh,
Cool.
like the more technical side, like okay, you
You guys
stand
got all
here, this is
locations and
on
everything. You
camera.
found places where to shoot and everything.
Yep, yep, locations, and I have I've done a couple films actually now, like short films, and
Did
that's
you post
more.
them?
Yeah, they're one is just in the process of getting finished.
Okay.
The music is getting composed right
Yeah.
now, so it should be ready
Yeah.
in like 2 weeks. But yeah, that's where I really want to bring the channel in the future. Or actually, I want to start another channel where I just do
Yeah.
more like short films and kind of the behind the
Cool.
scenes to doing that.
Do you see yourself more as an actor or more as like a YouTuber or more as a comedian or how do you see yourself?
My number one thing is acting for sure. And
Yeah.
like when I first started my YouTube channel, it was kind of just it was for two reasons. One was because I kind of like testing people. I like seeing how people react to certain situations. And another
Yeah.
was just so I can go on camera and act in all these crazy roles, right?
Yeah.
So as I was going through, I was just like, I don't want to say I'm getting tired of doing prank videos and social experiments, but I wanted
Okay.
to kind of expand my horizons and go and move towards more, acting. So now when I come up with these YouTube videos, it's more like me playing these crazy characters just to show,
Yeah.
how much of a dynamic range I can have.
That you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And plus at the same time you've been doing these YouTube videos that you've been doing for a long time. You've been doing for a couple years now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and my whole I guess my downfall would be that I wasn't doing them consistently.
Mm.
Because now I realize how, you know, it's really important to be consistent, like with whatever
It's
you do.
so important. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like it's become so evident now. Like it didn't matter. Like I mean, I've made the same mistake. I've recorded so many videos, did so much all this pre-work, filming, going out, interviewing, talking to all these people, and then never processing it because it's like I don't think it's good enough, and I don't want to put
Yeah.
it out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like that self-doubt can really get in the way.
Yeah.
Like, and
And
I've
not
had
only
that.
that, you're just like, I don't know if it's gonna be that great, and I don't know if I want to put it out there. So then you just don't ever get around to it, or just
Yeah.
procrastination or whatever. But like it makes sense. Like if you had just you put in the work, just fucking put it out there. Who gives
Yeah.
a shit?
That,
You know
that's
what I mean?
exactly it because I was just gonna say it's a shame for, all that work to go to waste.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree, and like that's why now, like I mean, I've gone through what I've gone through in life, and that's why I kind of have this really like fuck it mentality,
Hmm.
which is just like
Love it.
if it's shit or not, fuck it, it's going up,
Hmm.
And I kind of I'm thankful for that because it's kind of really moved the ball forward in the sense that like now like if I do any work, it's going up whether I like it or not,
Yeah.
and that's kind of
Yeah.
overrides it. It's like fuck it, I don't like it.
And
No,
now,
too bad, it's fucking going up.
and tell me this too, because I know it's happened to me before where like I put
Yeah,
something out that I'm not particularly like sold on. Like I'm kind of like breaking it down, like, oh, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. Even, auditions and stuff too. Like I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I could have done that better, I could have done that better. I don't
yeah,
know about this. I end up submitting it or I end up uploading it and then it ends up doing well. And I'm just like,
yeah,
wow, like it's weird how you can kind of
yeah,
get down on yourself like that. Like has that
yeah,
happened to you
exactly.
before?
Dude, it's happened where I had to audition and I didn't want to go and tell my agent I don't want to audition for this role. I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna go do the audition and that'll be it. And then like I go on audition and then I get booked for that role. I'm like, fucking hell, I did not want this role. And I was
Yeah.
like, now do I tell my agent like I don't want to do it? So and then I booked the role. I had to go do the role. They filmed it, and then just happened my luck. Then they filmed the scene. It was outside. It was so freezing cold, and the actress. It was so cold. Like here's the people who don't want to understand a movie magic. It's so cold. When you say your dialogue, it's because it's so cold. You can see the cold air coming out of your mouth, and it's all like smoky. They want to get rid of it, so they make us chew like ice cubes while we're out in the freezing cold. I remember that night. It was raining and it was ice and it was no, it wasn't raining. It was there was a little bit of rain, but then it would become ice right away. So like you'd be get drenched, and then it was so cold, like it was like minus fucking I don't know -20 or some shit. We were outside, downtown, and they made us chew on ice cubes because they're like, we
Ooh.
need you to chew this right before we say action, and then when you say your dialogue, there's no smoke. And the actress was so freezing, like she was so cold, she didn't want to do it,
Mhm.
and so they ended up filming it anyways. But I guess it was so bad that they couldn't use it. They had to refilm it, but they refilmed it with different actors. So I didn't have to do it really. So like I
Really?
did. I mean, yeah. So like I did it. It was a commercial. But like I did it and but they didn't end up using it. So like I was like, all right, I guess that's good. I didn't really want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I tell you, like sometimes you go into your audition for things and you're like, I don't want to do this and I don't want to make a big scene out of this, guys.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, like they like, I like this guy. Can we bring him in again? And like, fuck,
You're like, oh
you
no,
know?
I didn't want to get this.
Yeah, so it's happened to me, man. It's happened to me. And yeah, and sometimes you'll like, you'll do an audition and then you'll think it was complete shit, and then you'll get called back in.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
happened. It's
whoa,
happened.
really? Like, and
Yeah.
it's the
So like
opposite
fuck it.
too.
Like that's why now, man, when I do auditions, man, I don't give a fuck. I was just
Yeah.
like, even if I came back and was like, that was so fucking good, I'm definitely gonna get a call back. And you don't get a call back, you're like, fuck it, I don't freaking care anymore.
I think that
You
that's
know?
that's definitely the way it should be too, because you probably had the opposite, where it's like, you're like, oh man, I this role is, you know, I was born to play this character, and then
Dude, yeah.
you're so confident about it, you
Yeah.
flew right by the audition or whatever, you ace the self tape, and then you're just like, oh fuck.
Dude, they didn't even call. They didn't give me a call back even.
Yeah,
Like I'll be like, what?
yeah,
How could they not?
exactly, and then you're just like, well, what the hell?
Yeah. So that's why, to me, the way I see it now is it's like I don't know what they're thinking. And then there's once like I thought I did such a good job. It was a huge like it was like total like it was Canada and the U.S. It was a huge commercial. They kept me in the audition for hours. Like it's my first time they ever kept me for hours. Like going out, we been pairing one person after next, after next, after next, and then they book you for the role, and then the next thing they know is like last minute they flip it on you, and they'll be like, you know what, the head of the company decided they want to go with like a girl instead of a guy, so they
Oh,
switch you out.
last minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
last minute. Yeah, and I was like, shit. Oh, actually, no, that one I'm mixing two up. One was for a North American one. I was in there for hours, and then they ended up giving it to someone that didn't even come back for a callback.
What?
They gave it, yeah, they ended up giving it to a callback, and then there's another one. I had a worldwide commercial. It was fucking huge, and it was freaking huge. If I had to tell the story, I'll tell the story another time. But
Hmm.
like, it was freaking huge. I wasn't even gonna go do the audition. Because I just got married and I was just like, I'm not gonna run back to do the audition. But I said, everybody's like, fuck it, just go and do the audition. I was like, fine. I went late to the audition. I still got it. I got the part. It was worldwide, and then the head of the corporation or someone in higher ups said that no, they want to switch it to a girl, and this was like the day before the shoot. So
Oh
everything was
my
booked. I was
God.
booked. Papers were signed. Everything was done. Whatever it was, or the agreements were made. And the day before the shoot, they said no, we had to change, and we want to switch it out for a girl. And I was like, shit, that sucked. You know?
Surprise.
Yeah, yeah, and even my agent was surprised. Like they've never done that before, but like it was a thing. So it just goes to show, man. Like you never know. Like you think people are making decisions, and the director might like you, the casting might like you, but then someone higher up from the company might just be like, no, 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 that's not the look we're going for, and we want something else. So the way I see it now is like I just go in, I do my shit, fuck it. If I get it, I get it. I don't get it. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know, and you just do what you just keep doing what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. You know what I mean? Like you're making your YouTube videos, you're making your movies, you keep doing that. I'm doing my podcast. I'm doing my hosting. I'm doing I'm doing streaming and all these
Mm-hmm.
things, and that's it. You know what I
Keep
mean?
powering through. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like that's the way I see it now, and so like yeah, but yeah, man, that's good to hear that you know you're going down the actor path and you want to do more of those you know, those juicy roles, and now you're
Mm-hmm.
creating those roles for yourself and you're making those films.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And
Make sure you post it because like now the chat's gonna want to see it.
oh
You
yeah.
know, they're gonna tune in. Make sure you guys watch Devin Gamo. I have his
Oh
name listed
yeah.
in the description. But yeah, are your films releasing anytime soon? Are you gonna
Um,
post them soon?
so I actually do have one out. Well, it's uploaded. It's privated right now. We're just figuring out what festivals to submit it to right now. And
Okay,
then with
okay.
the other one, music is just getting composed. It'll be wrapped up in 2 weeks. And then I'm going to start another YouTube channel just
Oh,
specifically for short films, like behind the scenes,
nice.
and filming more, I guess, like just not YouTube video, like more like scripted kind of productions.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna start that
So,
channel
so
soon. I'm
you're gonna
just
put this on a different channel now.
on
You're
it.
not gonna. So you're gonna.
Yeah, so
Oh well. So you're gonna have a different channel. I'm pretty sure you'll probably link it in your Instagram so people can like know how
yeah,
to navigate to it.
yeah. It's gonna be like
Okay.
skits and like skits and social experiments on one channel, and then more like behind the scenes and short films for another channel.
Nice, nice. On that last note, I wanted to ask what kind of roles do you want to play?
Now, like I mean,
Like, what's your ideal role that you want to play?
I want to be the next James Bond 007.
So you want to play something like you want to play like the drama, the action. You want to play that.
I want to like because I'm very comfortable in like these comedic kind of like jock stupid douchebag kind of type, but
I can see it now. I was like, oh wait a second, I can see him fit in those roles.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like but I want to go outside of my comfort zone. I want to do like something
yeah, yeah.
dramatic, or I want to walk away from a building that's blowing up in the background. That's always been my that's always been
That
something
makes
to cross
sense. I
off.
mean, you got the height for it and everything like that, and obviously the girls are already going crazy over you, so why not? You know, you put on the suit. You're already wearing the suit in the YouTube videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just add the burning building to the equation, and then there
And the
you go.
explosion and the helicopters. You
Yeah,
got
the
it.
helicopters. You got to have those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, so that's cool. So you're going for the drama stuff like that. So you're working on
Yeah,
that.
just and that's something that I just want to come out of my comfort zone with.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I
I
love it.
can play comedy left, right, and center, but
Yeah,
something that I really want to test my acting abilities with
yeah, yeah.
drama.
And see what you can do. Yo, man, I'm looking forward to these YouTube videos. And you guys, make sure you guys tune in as well. Make sure you guys check out his Instagram, his YouTube. What is there any other links that you also post stuff on that you want people to know
Instagram,
about?
YouTube, and then you know what? I finally joined the TikTok party recently, and I'm gonna get
Oh, you did.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Some
follow you. I didn't even know this is news to
it
me.
you know what it had to be done. I was under the impression that it was honestly like 14-year-old girls that just
Yeah,
danced on there and that was it. But then I heard something Gary Vee said, and
yeah.
it really made me want to check it out and navigate the TikTok waters.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I'll join you on there. I've been wanting to put stuff on TikTok. I just started a TikTok like I think like a month or two ago, and I was just like, you're limited by the 1 minute. You can't even go over by a little bit or anything like that. And I was like, fuck. It's like,
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I guess maybe I'll navigate that eventually. But it's just so much to juggle. But it's nice to have all this work lined up to be like, oh, I got to work on this. I got to work on that. I got to do this
yeah,
and that. So,
yeah, exactly.
dude, we'll collab on do a TikTok or something together, man.
Let's do it, man. I know this is not going to be the end. We'll
This
definitely
isn't it. This isn't the end for sure. And like, I definitely got to get you on. Like I said, we're gonna play some games today. It was a podcast, but we'll have you on, and we'll be hanging out, you, me, and a couple friends, and we'll do a stream, which will be gaming, and
yeah.
then you come on for those streams if you're free. Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. No, I'm down. 100%.
Awesome, man. Let's do it up. All right, guys. That's our time for the podcast. I'm just gonna end this here. And you make sure you guys tune in to Devin Gamo. Make sure you guys follow him on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I got his
MySpace.
username.
No, I'm kidding.
His MySpace page might still be up.
Yeah. Yeah,
His
somewhere out
Friendster
there.
might be up as well. Google him.
Yeah.
But yeah, then that, you can make sure you guys tune into the following streams as well. I'll have them on for sure, and we're just gonna be playing some games, having some fun. I know that's gonna be a lot of fun as well because we're gonna play some comedic games, and I think you guys are gonna like it.
Oh man,
So
looking forward to
stay
it.
tuned to that. And Devin has no clue what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Big question
All
mark.
right.
That's what I like though.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna end this stream here. Thanks to everybody who tuned in, and thanks to everybody who are watching this on replay or are watching this after this is aired, or the people that are listening to the audio only. This is Deeple, Hero Happens signing out. Devin, say bye to the audience.
Ta for now. Was a pleasure, and do it again soon.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna end this here. See you later, guys. Thanks, everybody.